You're on the air, baby. You're on. You did it. You made it.
The Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies. Tape never lies.
Starts now.
Tape never lies.
The tape never lies.
The following show is for mature audiences only. Shy City Sports.
Nothing. I haven't.
Oh,
I haven't. Shane, are you still the smartest man in the world?
No, they once you left, they demoted me. I'm the not smartest man now, is what they refer to me as. So, what does it mean to you when Justin Fields comes out and says that Luke Getsy is one of the brightest and most brilliant coaches that he's ever had the privilege of working with? He never said that about Matt Nagy.
When he said Matt Nagy's a great head coach, that's how much it means to me. It means nothing to me. I'm watching the tape. Getsy, don't get it. That's where I'm at right now. He's a concern. The offensive line coach is a huge concern. The personnel, all of that aside, this is the NFL. Run the fucking route.
Yeah.
There's no sprinting going on.
That's fine, but when you're showing me a wide receiver depth chart and we can expand this. I don't think Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool are both getting paid. And you might even be surprised who's getting paid out of those two at wide receiver. The Bears have more capital invested in Chase Claypool than they do Darnell Mooney. Let's be honest.
Some changes on the line. We didn't see that. However, we did see the two rookies come back into the secondary, and both of them, albeit for a big
not just
whiff.
them. They have 4 rookies in the secondary that are all contributing. 4.
Well, the two that came back, I want to talk about the Brisker and Caleb.
Right.
Kyler. They both performed well. Obviously, Ivan talked earlier about the miss blitz pickup, and I think Coach Eberflus talked about it too, which was important too to me, that he did hold the rookie account. You got to go into the opposite side. You gave a clean. That was the easiest touchdown I've seen in a long time. Right? You gave that up, and now it's on at Brisker to go.
All these guys talk like they've been there. Yeah, you made a fucking Super Bowl, and I can point out more fucking seasons where you guys underperformed as a fucking team. That's my fucking point. They had talent there, and it didn't play up to the fucking level that they should have consistently. I'll die on that fucking hill. You have nobody. This defensive line could be completely fucking wiped out other than Robinson and Gibson, who's going to be under contract, that you're going to be brought back next year as fucking backups. Linebackers, Sanborn. Everybody else gone. Secondary, you have 4 rookies that are going to be back, and I think that they will re-sign DHC. And who knows with Eddie what their plans are there. Are they going to ship him off and try to get whatever they can with him, or are they going to roll him back next year as the leader of the secondary? There's so many places on this roster, on this depth chart. Guys are just going to be, we're not even going to know where the fuck they are next year.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Chicago's
trading up. 100.
Yes!
What?
Here it is! Or just recording.
The tape never lies.
Other people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition. Take over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man in Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now them out stuck like the two and now and later. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be me, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Jimmy. What we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like trick sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it.
Keeping it 100.
2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Birds never lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo! What's up, everybody? It's your boy AB here. Welcome to TTNL Keeping It 100. Tonight, we got a great show planned for you. We got NBC Sports Chicago, Alex Shapiro on, guys. Happy to be back. Missed you. I've done working 23 and a half hours. I'm here for at least an hour and a half, guys. So welcome again to TTNL. Let's bring in the boys. Shane, the smartest man, and DDP.
Thought it was past your bedtime, maybe. I'm not gonna lie, you impressed me.
I was sitting there going, I know it's gonna happen. They're gonna pop my fucking bubble up. We had
That
no
literally
idea who was
happened
gonna
on the
open this
fly,
show.
though. Phil's like, who's gonna be the moderator? And I'm like, I don't know, Cherie. And then I looked down and I saw the spotlight put on you. But look at this right
Yeah,
here.
we should.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network. Breaking news.
Into the TTNL Network news desk. Not that Bratcher finally fucking showed up for a show. Devin Hester has been officially named a finalist for the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
About time.
So he's a finalist to be voted in.
Yeah,
It's
but
still
that's a
gotta
big
be
deal. I
voted.
mean, you
That's-
gotta get
That's the
there.
first step. You got to get in the door.
Ivan Vargas calls him the 6th best return man in NFL history.
That's a lie. That's not the truth. But I'm happy for him. That's awesome. I mean, it's hard enough for special teams guys to get the call to the Hall, but hell, he's a finalist. That's something.
He deserves it, man.
Yeah,
You think
Oh,
he gets in
yeah.
this time?
I do.
I do.
too.
he's the best. He's the best ever at his position. Like,
That's
They
what the
changed the
definition of the Hall
rule.
of Fame is. Yeah.
Because of him.
yeah,
Right.
But when you
Absolutely.
start changing rules, especially in the NFL, you know there's something diabolical.
Right, it's like me and
Going.
social media. Change the fucking rules. They disable me and fucking kick me out. I get the
They
shit
brought
back
you
in
back.
Bring it
24
back.
months.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
turn around and just be like,
Yeah.
That's how we should. Look at Bratcher starting the show. No rehearsing.
I just had a feeling it was going to be me because I haven't been here in 47 days, Shane, right? Isn't that the number? Something like that.
Been pretty close. That's what I think. I was in the green room, Phil, before we started, and I hear ding, and I was in the middle of typing something, and I heard somebody say, Shane, look up. And I'm like, holy fuck, Bratcher, I thought we lost you to John Zagul.
No way. No way.
Johnny Zagul. Listen, we'd be remiss if we obviously didn't start out breaking that news. It's been a lot of news with the Chicago Bears. I feel like that's going to be a theme for this whole offseason, good, bad, or indifferent. That's what's going to transpire with the Bears because there's going to be so much, obviously, everyone talking about the cap space, but so much going down before we even get into it. I don't want to move off the Hester thing. I think it's just makes me feel that there is a football god because in my lifetime, I don't think I have seen a returner get the standing room only.
Yeah, true,
you know, and that's the reality of what somebody that good at what they do does. And that accompanied with the fact that he did it.
Right. Well,
like he could take any play, any kick, any punt to the end zone, and that was
the ultimate compliment. Olin Kreutz said live on our air, and then Thomas Jones reinforced it, and so did Brian Urlacher. You know, rather than them sitting on the sidelines, you know, looking at their iPad or Surface Pro, whatever.
Pro.
He said when there was a punt or there was a kickoff return, they were standing up on the sidelines for one reason. You know, you hear that the Soldier Boy going in Soldier Field. It doesn't matter now. You hear that now, and I'll be driving down the road, and you'll hear that song, and I instantly see. Let's not get copyright. Don't go too much into singing it. Yeah. But no, you hear that, and you instantly identify with Devin Hester, number 23, Chicago Bears, and it's, you know, my son never saw him play live, but all the time I'll look at his YouTube history, and he's watching returns of Devin Hester, and he's like, oh man, you know, I wish I could have seen him play, and it was must see TV, absolutely.
It's so weird because my son, not that this matters, says to me tonight, I'm going to wear 23, I think, when I play football. I go, why?
It's a good number in Chicago.
It's the opposite of David Montgomery. It's like reversed, and then it'd be me. I go, you know who wore that? Devin Hester. He's like, who's that? He doesn't really know that. I'm like, go check out Devin
That's just
Hester.
Bad parenting right there,
man.
folks.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm focused on the here and the now of things, but yeah, he's figuring
somebody
out
else
who
in the
Devin
green
is.
room we got to bring out. I know she's a
Happy
Hester
New
fan.
Year.
She told me she would cast aside Thomas Jones in a heartbeat for some Devin Hester love. Oh, she wouldn't.
She's happy. I'm happy.
There she
is. Putting those lies out there.
Yes, it was. It's the best of times and the worst of times for the Bears. Yeah. That's great news, Cherie. That Devin Hester. Happy New Year, Cherie. Again,
Happy New
saw you Monday with Chris Zorich.
Yeah, dog in my Michigan. That's okay.
Oh boy, I was texting Cherie live during that game.
Great game.
Yeah, I got to experience the
Before
Cherie anger. Yeah. Or an HL Priest. HL Priest just wasn't responding to anybody because he was totally invested, but Cherie had given up, and I'm like, they score here. I'm like, Cherie, here's the score. She's like, what the fuck? I gotta turn this on. She was going, I think you were heading out or something, right? Heading out to a party.
I gotta tell you, to be able to go throw 2 pick sixes and come back. Yeah. I mean, that's 14 points there that you gave. Obviously, we talked a lot about that on Monday on the Super 16 Bowl show with Chris Sorge and me, and Cherie was there. But it is one of those things where Coach Jim Harbaugh, honestly, early in the game, making some situational decisions that I thought Matt Nagy was calling plays for a second. What are you doing?
Yeah, real quick, Phil, before you go too far, I'll run down the entire Hall of Fame finalists for 2023. Darrelle Revis, Joe Thomas, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, Dwight Freeney, Jared Allen, Patrick Willis, DeMarcus Ware, Zach Thomas, Darren Woodson, Rondé Barber, Albert Lewis, and Willie Anderson.
Urlacher's looking for Zach Thomas to get in. He's a big lobbyist to him.
And not on that list is this guy.
Is that the draft mob alarm?
Air raid.
Looking to secure that pick. I actually felt bad for him in his presser today.
I did not. I
didn't.
No, I have no interest in Nathan Peterman being on this roster beyond this year.
Like
it is no
the
not
general of the tank,
the
committee, General Peterman.
Put it this way: if he goes out and plays the game, if he goes out and plays the game of his life, he'll be the biggest villain in Chicago sport. I mean, Bartman will have a few weeks off. It'd be Chicago Bears luck. This motherfucker goes out and throws for 450 and 6 tutties against the Vikings.
I think one Gregory Sunshine might run on the field and tackle him during the game, Shane. Get arrested if that was to happen.
But I mean, I know we're going to talk about it with our guest, but while we have all you guys here before Alex Shapiro shows up, I have to admit I'm proud of the Bears for what I feel like is 100% the right call. In the past, they seemingly never made that right call when they should have. To me, it was I didn't know if they had it in them. I really didn't. And then when they came out and said it today, I was like, holy shit. And to me, it's another indicator that they get the bigger picture of this moving forward. Because at the end of the day, the Bears going out and winning game number 4 versus the Minnesota Vikings, I don't think moves the meter one bit.
Mm-mm.
It's the right thing to do. I have to. I'm always the guy. I just hated Coach Eberflus. It's another red flag for him, for me, because I just, you know what? After thinking, I guess he can't say we're trying to tank.
No, dude, you come out and you even. Of course it is, but you have zero. You can't even make a joke about that. You have to come out and just be like, yeah. I thought he played it well. He showed up Monday morning and, had a little bit of a hip.
Groin. Hip.
Yeah.
I got to do a song called Groin, No Hip, No Hip. When Coach Eberflus, he floppy flip.
But I think they made the right call. I didn't have any problem with the way that he handled it. And I mean, that's just listen, they know what's at stake with where you're finishing.
I think it's the right
draft.
thing to do.
Yeah.
I think it's the right thing to do. Definitely. I thought it should have been done at halftime of the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a patron, you heard us both say that. I mean, I can say whatever I want about this coaching staff. Alan and I were talking about it before you guys came into the green room. Ivan and I talked about it. Phil, you and I did. I just can't explain when you see your running back Jesus, the haters are going to have fun with that. Your quarterback break off a long run and he's visibly hurt. You can see it in his face. And then you come back with QB power and he gets absolutely fucking plastered, annihilated. And I mean, I tweeted it out. I'm like, what the fuck what are they doing? Why is that even an option?
Well, you saw even on the next play was another sweep to the left. He leaned up against the equipment there at the end, like shit. Like
it wasn't a sweep. It was a boot. He's trying to find. They were trying to get the fucking tackle. They were doing a gimmick play.
That's
tackle
right.
eligible,
They ran the tackle eligible outside. But regardless of that, it's like he leans up against the thing. He just looks exhausted. Like it's all on him. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten beat up a lot more than he has.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that the personnel's not that good, Phil, but I mean, all you're doing is putting your quarterback in harm's way with 2 games to go and you're a 3-win team. What is the point of putting him in harm's way over and over? It's negligence on the coaching staff. It is. It's just
I called it coaching malpractice on Sunday. That's what I referred to it as. And listen, I have a lot of issues with this coach, red flags. And Shane and I have debated it, and personnel versus whatever. We're going to find out a lot about Poles and Eberflus in the next few months. That's what makes this so every year it gets you back. It's like you rekindle the fire. And we're going to see. The coach, though, has given me concerns going into the offseason. Today, he just added more to it with the hip and the groin. I mean, the hip. I mean, high hub. All of that. But we'll get into it. I see our guest is in the green room enjoying the filet mignon and lobster tails we have out there for him. We always put a beautiful spread out there for our guests. That's what we do. But yeah, let's get to our guest. This guy, if you don't know him, you hear him ask questions sometimes, except when they're on the road. You can't hear shit from anybody.
No mics. Fans can't hear anything.
But thankfully, Courtney Cronin stepped up for TTNL and went to the media relations department in Hallis and said, "Can you turn up the mics? We need to hear Shapiro." And he is also one of the great writers, beat writers. Do people still write? I don't even read shit anymore. I just am listening. So
they do.
He's a great beat writer, as well as he's a host on the Under Center podcast and a friend of the network and Shane and myself. I'm so excited to have him back. I'm looking for his intro. There it is. Let's bring him out the TTNL way. Might be a little dated, but you got to have, some creative flair with this intro.
This guy covers the Chicago Bears for NBC Sports Chicago.
Ryan, is aliens over there?
Matt Nagy was always searching for the whys. Alex is here to tell you what they are. Bears fans, TTNL fans, get out your seats for this TTNL Network first-timer and give it up for Alex Shapiro.
That guy, right? He's the one that put Flus on the map in the streets of Chicago. All right?
There it is.
Yo.
There he is.
Yo, I'm not a TTNL virgin anymore.
I know.
Yeah, we got to update our stuff.
Shane always writes these scripts, and then they go into the library.
Alex, with all this Peterman hype, man, what do you want me to do? I'm supposed to change your intro?
I would have been scrambling. I was scrambling. I was literally scrambling during that Matt Eberflus press conference, so I understand.
Did you write down hip, then groin, and then went back to hip? Did you?
No, I didn't have time. Thanks to Brad Biggs for getting that follow-up question in right away. I was writing our story on that, and then when he said groin, I was like, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
I wrote hip. And then it was a hip. I think it was just a slip of the tongue. It was a slip of the tongue. But that intro is still unbelievable. Yes, people still do write things. I write things. A lot of people write the written word. It's still a vibe.
I'm being honest. I haven't read, like, that was my thing that's how this whole thing. I would just search for Chicago Bears articles back in the day, and then even more. And now it's just like all I'm doing is cutting tape and doing our own show. So
Lunch with Larry isn't moving the meter for us, Alex, is what we're trying to say. No.
Oh no. Oh, I'm really
or the
sad
dumbest
to hear that.
question asked by a Bears beat reporter all season long when Pat Finley busted off Justin, what does the big jacket do for you when it's cold out and they put it on you? I'm like, I had to rewind. Like, did he just
I've
ask
wondered
that?
I've wondered that. Those jackets
you
don't
warm.
look very warm. They don't look very warm. Windbreaker at best, maybe. It's more like a shell. Let's be honest.
There's no fuzzy fur inside that thing.
Doesn't appear to be.
This
I'm
might
pretty
be
sure
an investigative
not because,
report.
Okay, here's what I'm going to bring to this discussion.
Okay.
During that Bills game when it was crazy windy, there was what I thought a piece of tarp flying across the field at a certain point in the game. It just looked like blue tarp. And then I realized that's no blue tarp. That is one of those little windbreakers from the Bills sideline, where somebody from the Bills sideline had to run across the field over to the Bears sideline, grab the shell, and then take the long way around the end zone. And as that thing was floating across the field, I could confirm no fur on the inside.
I thought you were going to say that was Mustafa getting over.
You got to update your thing. It might need to be Dieter Eisland now because he was the one who really had a tough time last
He did
week.
have a bad game. He had a few. That's my boy there too.
I know. But listen, I was excited to see what Dieter could show. I was excited to see Larry Borum. I was interested to see if Alex Leatherwood would make an appearance at guard. It ended up being Dieter being the guy. And
Dieter played against the Bills. He played against, and he played great.
Right. He was a part of that rotation with Larry Borum.
Yeah.
Yes. So, when they made the move to Dieter, it was like, okay, I understand why. And I'm not trying to dunk on Dieter Eisland right now. But yeah, that was a tough game.
Can you dunk? How tall are you?
I cannot dunk. I can do layups, though. I'm pretty good at layups.
Nice. We've been trying to get Deion Miller to dunk on her basketball hoop that she's always got behind her at her house when she's on our show, but we haven't. She hasn't agreed to do it quite yet.
One day.
Yeah. Got to work our way up
Let's talk
to it,
about city. You're watching Detroit and the Chicago Bears this past weekend, and I think you heard a little bit of our discussion beforehand. You saw how it was going, and that quarterback power in the red zone, to me, I just couldn't believe it. After he looked like he was kind of shooken up.
Yeah, I don't know if you got to see it on the TV. On the TV feed, the camera was right up in his face, and I texted Phil immediately. I'm like, he's fucking hurt, man. He's hurt. And then they come out and Getsy draws up QB power, and I mean, he got smashed. And I'm like, I'm like, do they really not give a shit if this kid gets hurt? What is going on? I don't know. It made no sense to me. And at that point, I'm like, I texted Phil again, right? We do a little quick halftime show. And coming out of halftime, I'm like, I at this point, if it's me, I'm pulling the kid.
Yeah.
He's not learning anything in the second half, the way that this is going. And you gotta protect him.
Understandable. And I started thinking those things in the second half as well. When it's clear the offensive line is really struggling, when it's clear we have nothing going on offense, it's one thing to keep him in there if you're going to target Chase Claypool 10 times, right, if you're going to work N'Keal Harry in to try and build that rapport. But when they weren't doing those things, exactly. I'm with you where it's like, okay, why are we putting Justin Fields through this? They did say they're aware of the record. And I think they did genuinely want to help him set that record. Obviously, health comes first. And then the other thing you got to remember is they've been doing this with him all season. All year it's been, hey, we're not going to play scared football. We're not going to play afraid of injuries, because you can't really think that way as a football player or as a football coach, right? You have to trust in your guys, and you have to trust in your guys when they say, I'm healthy enough to go and I can protect myself from hurting myself further, right? So when the shoulder separation thing, when it became clear to them that no, He was not going to make that shoulder injury any worse, and it was a pain thing for him to battle through. Justin Fields says, listen, I can protect myself. I'm strong enough to protect myself, and I can battle through this pain, so they're going to let him play. But again, that changes. That's in regards to the running.
Right.
To the running plays. To me, the whole narrative of should he even be out there changed when it became clear, like, the Bears aren't accomplishing really any of their goals here, and he's just taking all of these unnecessary hits. And then, you know what? I give credit to the Bears organization, however they reached the opinion or however they reached the decision today, backpedaling from if Justin's healthy, he's playing, to, okay, we do need to sit this guy down. And I know he's got this hip strain, right? And they say the hip strain is why he's not going to play. But, you know,
it's the biggest lie in sports. Right?
We've seen Justin Fields battle through injuries before,
sure. Right?
And I could see Justin Fields battling through an injury like this. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. I haven't seen the medicals.
He was definitely playing, Alex. Let's be honest.
I mean, if they're fighting for the playoffs, I know that was asked to him today, and he said no. That I think we can all say
Flus was full of shit.
But he's trying to cover his bases. I mean, you don't want to. Listen,
this is the GM.
It's obvious why you're putting Peterman out there under the circumstances.
We saw this same shit with Nagy. Remember, nope, Justin ain't playing. We're going with whoever it was at the time.
Right.
I don't remember. And then the very next day, nope, Justin started. And that was the Cleveland game. That led up to the Cleveland game.
Right.
So there's a pattern here. Again, it's the right thing to do. So at least they got it right.
Right.
At least they got it right.
And this is how an organization should work, right? The coach is brought in there to win games, you know, and he also recognizes, like any NFL coach, it's a win and loss business, you know. Bad records get coaches fired. So every win to Matt Eberflus not only matters to the team, to the culture he's trying to build. They believe that there's value in winning. I also do kind of believe that there is value in Justin Fields winning a game instead of ending the season on a 9-game winning streak. If he manages, you know, even against Viking second stringers, if he manages a way to get a fourth quarter comeback, I believe there's value in that. And I understand why Matt Eberflus wants to put his guy out there to have his experience. And then, you know, again, the checks and balances working kind of how they're supposed to be, whether it's Ryan Poles saying, nah, dude, the guy's got to sit. It's kind of how the things are supposed to work. In the end, it worked out, and Justin Fields is sitting when he probably should be sitting.
So, Alex, how do you weigh it? Like, I know, you know, Dan Wieder's been going back and forth with a lot of people on Twitter ever since his, you know, the Bears have to learn how to win. And obviously it's a stripped down roster. And I understand the value in it and stuff like it. You know, my rebuttal to it is you look back to Philly when they pulled their starting quarterback out, put in Nate Sudfeld, who gave the game away. So, and it was clearly for draft position. You know, they went from like drafting 12th to 6th with the loss, and they ended up trading down and getting more assets that way. But so if you're talking about winning a game in week 18 and the Bears, you know, Justin Fields leads them down and he throws a pass to Dante Pettis to win the game 28-27. How do you weigh that versus now you're at 4 versus potentially number 1 or 2? And that's drastically different in terms of potential compensation that you can get moving forward.
Sure. You know, and this is an evolving conversation as it has been over the past months. You know, if we have this conversation last month, we're not talking about the number 1 overall pick in the draft. That was never really on the table until the Texans sneakily, you know, figured it out and like won a game, right? And all of a sudden it is on the table. I do, you know, between balancing all of that, I still think the Bears are going to get a dynamite player at number 4 if they decide to pick at number 4. I don't think the Bears are going to be picking at number 4. They're probably going to be at 2, right? Or
but they might get that same player at number 4 by trading down and accumulating future assets and 3 or 4 other picks. I mean, I mean, let's just say
100%.
they're number 1 or number 2, and they go down and they're still drafting Will Anderson or Jalen Carter at number 4 with future assets in tow. It's just
that's real.
I'm not sure if the week 18 win really is any type of a fact. Justin Fields knows how to win ball games. I mean, we've seen it before. I know at the NFL level, it's a whole new thing, but I'm not ready to judge him in that area with Dante Pettis and Equinemius St. Brown as his guys and a bunch of cast-offs at the offensive line protecting him.
Well, Equinemius St. Brown is going to be his guy next year too. No, yeah. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Here's where I think the value is real. And I was similarly skeptical. Like, does one win really make all that much of a difference? We interviewed Tony Dungy on the Honor Center podcast.
Yep.
And he basically said, like, you have no idea how important that is.
Yep.
Going into the off season with good vibes, going into the off season with confidence, going into the off season knowing, okay, that was a really tough season, but we're on the right track and we know we can do it. He said in Tampa Bay and even in Indianapolis, those things were essential heading into those off seasons as they were building those foundations. I talked to a few other guys on the roster too, who were on teams that had these turnarounds from one year to another. Michael Schofield was one of those guys with the Chargers. When he was working with the Chargers, they kind of figured it out along the way after being a bumbling team for a while. And now we're, that culture is a winning culture. He said, yeah, man, we didn't make the playoffs, right? They weren't involved in the playoffs. They missed out, but they went on a little run where they won 2 of their last games. And that it changed the tone of their offseason as players. They felt it. They felt in that offseason thinking like, oh, okay, we got this. Like we're going to spend a year. We're going to get new guys. We're going to add to our core. We're going to work at these things. And next year we're going to hit the ground running. And that's what they did. They went 12-4 the next season. And it was legit. So hearing Tony Dungy talk about that, hearing some of the players in the locker room talk about like, yeah, it seems kind of crazy, but it's real. It changed my thinking a little bit. And especially, again, I understand the argument that a lot of the roster is going to be turned over, but the most important player is Justin Fields, right?
Yeah.
If Justin Fields is the guy, all of this will probably work out. If Justin Fields isn't the guy, it's not going to work out. So if that one win can do something to help Justin Fields in his development, then maybe it's worth it, especially when you're talking about, if you're still at 4, you're still going to get a dynamite player. Now, I hear your argument that trading down and still being able to get Will Anderson and still being able to get a Jalen Carter, that is also incredibly valuable, right? That balance is incredibly tough because they do need a lot of players. They need such an unbelievable influx of talent, right? There are holes at practically every position group except maybe for quarterback and running back, to be honest. So I get that. I also understand that. And I don't think there's a wrong answer, to be honest.
Right.
Well, I want us to jump in and say, I'm with Dungy until I saw what transpired on Sunday, because I've always been, you don't lose. That's just a losing culture. It becomes a disease. It carries over. I don't care who's not on the roster. I've fought this. Shane and I have debated it. I'm glad Coach Dungy agrees with me and not Shane. But
I have a rebuttal to that too that I'll go. With Coach Dungy.
The reality is, if your players aren't playing to the level of wanting to win, then you're just ruining the piece that you have. So it becomes a dangerous game of football roulette. And that's where I want to ask you this question, and then Shane can rebuttal. Are you a believer of Justin Fields moving forward? Is he the guy in your mind?
Oh yeah, I think he's totally the guy. To me, he's a winner, right? He passes the eye test. He's got all the talent in the world. We see the arm talent. We see the accuracy. We see the ability to rush. Are there still questions? Is he a finished product? Absolutely not. I want to see him get rid of the ball faster. There are moments when he's running out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. That just absolutely can't happen. There are times when he's taking sacks he can't take. So, I mean, he needs to grow, right? Justin Fields right now, again, is not a finished product. But everything I see from him, the intangibles, everything I feel from him tells me that he's a guy who can become a truly elite superstar quarterback. I've believed that from a long time, and it's kind of been confirmed as I've watched this season, as we've seen him in the locker room. It sounds ridiculous, and Josh Schrock totally roasts me for saying things like this. But to me, winning just emanates off of Justin Fields, in my opinion, where it feels different with Justin Fields than it did with Jay Cutler. Feels different with Justin Fields than it did with Mitchell Trubisky. And that's why I believe he really can be the guy. And I mean, the dude works really hard. The dude really wants to win. The dude wants to be coached and, is willing to do the things to get the team to where they need to be. So, yeah, whether or not Justin Fields does end up being a Super Bowl winning quarterback is one story, but do I believe he has the makeup to do it? Do I believe that he's really the guy for the Bears? 100%. I know people are talking about trading Fields and trying to draft Bryce Young or somebody like that. No shot. No shot.
When say he's a below average passer, are we being honest right now about him? He's below average. Are the Bears ruining him because they're running him and all of these questions? You're right there on the front lines of it. He's a below average passer according to all these people, right?
I don't think he's a below average passer. I think he's unbelievably accurate. His deep ball is phenomenal. The gripes you might have are with the processing. I see him go through his progressions, and we see him get from read 1 to read 2 to read 3. But is he always pulling the trigger right on time? Is the timing always there? No. Does he hold on to the ball too long sometimes? Yes. So again, those are real gripes. But a below average passer, this dude is a unbelievable passer. Some of these throws that he makes along the sidelines or on deep balls, like I said, are just absolutely dotted, pinpoint perfect throws that few people can make.
If people aren't
and
helping
he makes it
him.
look
Cole
easy.
Kmet, drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect
Right.
pass, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
People forget this. A 4th down. He hits the guy they extended. That's a whole nother freaking conversation. They extended this guy. He drops the ball against Detroit on 4th down, right in his hands. Right?
We've seen it time and time again. Exactly. It's
convenience. It's recency bias with Justin. I'm down in Dallas. He drops a fucking dime to Velus Jones. That's a critical catch in the game. Momentum, everything. Dropped. To your point, backing you up against a lot of the haters. I'm just throwing that out there because I know you didn't ask him this stuff. Because there's a lot of drops that affect some of these statistics, and there's not a very good offensive line play as well. So you're dealing with two different things.
Yeah, it's just before we wrap up the Dungy, I'd listened to that pod and it was awesome. And I talked about it with Phil because he gave me a different perspective. The only thing that I wanted to push back on it a little bit, even with Coach Dungy, was he got there in 96 and they had a pretty important draft the year before where they got Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, and John Lynch as your core on defense. The Bears don't have anything close to that.
Sure.
So, I mean, I understand.
Tyler Gordon and Brisker, bro.
Yeah, they're not Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks, bro. That's, or John Lynch. I mean, let's be honest. But his overall point on that pod with you guys was, if there's 3 blue chip players, you better get one of them when you're up top in the draft. It's not, his point was, it's not always about accumulating more picks. If there's blue chip, you get better quicker with blue chip.
Dungy agree.
Yeah, so I mean it's an interesting.
Tell that to CHGO.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. I just don't think the roster construction of the 2022 Bears was close to the 95 Bucks going into the 96 season, but other than that, but I don't know, have you jumped into the draft at all? I mean, you kind of have to a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Now
I have,
where are you with these? Everybody's talking Jalen Carter, everybody's talking Will Anderson. I'm an Alabama guy, but like I said, I know to me that I think Jalen Carter's getting thrown under the bus a little bit with people are trying to say that the off the field stuff. I'm more concerned about the motor being not hot all the time. But
interesting. I've done a little bit of work because like you said, it's about time to get your toes wet.
Sure.
I've looked at a few guys right now. I do lean Will Anderson personally, but it's for a variety of reasons. One is edge rusher is just not really someone you find anywhere else but other than the draft. And there are really good, impactful 3-techs that the Bears can get in free agency.
Yep.
So for me, I would lean Will Anderson over Jalen Carter. I'm not really worried about, Jalen Carter didn't play well in Georgia's game against Ohio State. Like, that's one game, that's recency bias, and we'll see what Jalen Carter does in the national championship game, where he could once again turn that narrative right around. But just because, you never see top tier edge rushers showing up in free agency. It's either you draft them or you got to trade a whole lot for them.
Right, that's the only other way to get him.
Yeah, right. And let's be honest. If a guy like whatever happened, the crazy things can happen. If Daron Payne hits the market, the Brinks truck is there on day one, and you're giving the kid $15 million a year to come play on the interior of your line. I mean,
absolutely
all day. But I mean, there's other options. But yeah, I totally understand your point of view there.
Absolutely. And then there's other guys who are interesting. I'm gonna butcher the guy's name from Northwestern, Adowari. I'm not even gonna really try, but the guy from Northwestern, interesting prospect. If they do trade down, you have Brees, you have Miles Murphy. There's all sorts of guys that will help the Bears. Not even could help the Bears. That's the other thing is the Bears need so much talent and they need so many players to come in to help out. I do believe that no matter where they go, even if they do trade down and they get, maybe a Quentin Johnston or they get a Peter Skoronski or whoever, the Bears will be better afterwards. But again, like I said, just right now, January 4th, I would lean Will Anderson.
I'm right with you, man. Right with you. I will say this other thing about Will Anderson. For him to play in that bowl game and be as honest, like the big issue the Chicago Bears had under past GMs is finding guys that love the game of football, like really love it. Those guys, the Bears seem to always not find. And, Brian Urlacher is an exception, but that wasn't under this administration. And you can go down a list, but I'm talking about top end of the draft. You got to find those guys that love the game. And Will Anderson, I thought he would have been my number one player in the draft last year.
He would have won number one overall last year all day long. Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
But Phil, to your point, you're talking about people that love football. To me, it sounds like you're describing the quarterback.
Justin Fields,
your leader. You know what I mean? That's very important.
I said it on BHL after the game. Anybody fucking hating on Justin Fields doesn't understand football and what it's like to be in that pocket of chaos. On top of a play caller who's learning how to call plays and don't even go me down that road with the play caller and the offensive line issue. And, by the way, his tight end jumps every time he's going to catch it. His receivers don't know where to line up. One's a returner. It's such an unfair assessment of him, throwing him into the flames like they have. But anyway.
No, one more thing I want to add on to that, because we should, Justin Fields' season is over. This is the time to applaud Justin Fields' season. Just another reason why I think he's the real deal. Justin Fields makes everybody better. He covers up so many holes. When Braxton Jones gets Olayed, right? We see Justin Fields spin out of that, and extend the play. When guys aren't where they need to be, and all of a sudden we're playing playground football, Justin Fields finds a way to get the ball to a guy on a scramble drill, on a broken play. When guys are struggling to get open and it's taking many seconds for them to get open, again, Justin Fields can extend that play so that those guys down the field have more time to get open, and then Justin Fields lays a perfect pass on them. So I truly believe that he elevates the play of really everybody on the offense.
And they don't. This is a real issue for me. It goes against Eberflus's philosophy of hits and loafs. This football team on tape, more so the second half of the season, the wide receivers and tight ends effort when Justin breaks the pocket is horrific. It's like, this is what he does. Sprint. They're just standing there almost like an audience member watching him to run. And it becomes a necessary fix for Getsy and the receiver coach and company that I'm just watching. Like Pettis, you see the guy scramble to his right. Yeah, you were running a drag across the middle or shallow cross, but he's scrambling right. Turn your ass around, sprint to the cone, and make yourself available. They don't do that stuff. And that's something the Green Bay Packers have freaking murdered us with, because Cobb is running a drag. All of a sudden, Aaron leaks the pocket. Cobb takes it to the seam, and you know the rest of the story. But anyway, I was venting for a second. It just drives me nuts because I know what Justin is. Justin has proved what Shane said. If you put a camera on Justin in the huddle, he reeks of get on my fucking back. We're going to win this fucking. Now you got to get some of those dogs with him that are going to catch every motherfucking ball that comes across. Catch it, block, do the things that are necessary for this guy. Who was your biggest disappointment when you look at this season? Look back, somebody you thought really was going to shine that didn't.
That's a tough question.
I do ask the tough ones, Hub.
You do.
I'm just.
Here's what I'll say in terms of disappointment. I think there was a lot of disappointment to go around. Mm-hmm. So the first guy that comes to mind is Nick Morrow. I thought that this guy could be a real force as a fast linebacker beside Roquan Smith. And the playmaking ability just hasn't been there. At times he's looked fast, but at other times he's just behind the play. We haven't seen the ball skills, right, that this defense requires. And, you know, that's been a mega sore spot for this defense. Is they're just weak up the middle. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like the Bears really missed Jack Sanborn in there. You know,
they did.
Yeah, they really miss a guy like Jack Sanborn, undrafted free agent, who was, you know, just hitting the gap and hitting it fast and making plays. Velus Jones has been a disappointment. You know, I was
don't get me started.
I was maybe surprised when the Bears drafted him in the third round, but thought, okay, you know what, interesting player. Let's see them get him the ball in space. Let's see what he can do. Now, recently he's turned it on with the kickoff. The kickoff game has actually been really good, and he deserves praise for that, right? He didn't hang his head. He didn't recede or, you know, say, poor me. He just kept at it, and his confidence was always high, never wavered. I will give him that credit. Like, always available to talk, always a great dude. And he has turned it around on kickoff. But in the offense, almost non-factor. He caught one deep pass when I thought, okay, maybe this guy gets 3 targets a game, and every once in a while he's going to turn in a big play. Maybe we'll see some interesting things that they're doing with him horizontally, but really all we've seen is that end-around game. Right. And we've seen that end-around game a whole lot. You know, I thought we'd see more out of Velus Jones, so he comes to mind. Who else? Disappointment.
You only needed one. So
all right, we'll go with those two then. We'll go with those two. You know what? I have one more. I have one more.
Go ahead.
Travis Gibson. I
That
thought
was mine.
Travis Gibson was
mine.
really set up to take the next step. I thought he did really excellent last season when the team moved on from Khalil Mack. He stepped in there next to Robert Quinn, and the two of them were a force where it was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Let's see what they have. He was a developmental player. I know that they, took him from being hand in the dirt to now he's running as an outside linebacker to now he's hand in the dirt. So maybe that transition's been tough, but I really expected a lot more out of Travis Gibson, and just wasn't enough this season out of him.
This isn't super important, but
that was my guy, by the way.
Travis,
the EQ, extension, whatever, $1.25 million. It's not like that guarantees him anything moving forward. But do you see any other potential extensions coming, before they have their exit meetings?
Before they have their exit meetings, I don't know. That would be surprising. This news today was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
But one extension that would not surprise me, this is going to be an unpopular take. But when you were talking about dogs, you want dogs on that offense that say, get on my back. I'm going to help us win this football game. I'm going to go, play my ass off to get every yard to find that end zone, et cetera, et cetera. To me, that's David Montgomery. This is a guy whose effort and passion you can never call into question. I mean, there have been so many games where everybody's going in slow motion. Again, like you said, you're like, does anybody care out there? And David Montgomery is just continuing to reel off 6 yards, 7 yards, fighting, keeping the legs moving, showing that passion. To me, David Montgomery is everything the Chicago Bears want to be culturally on the football field, et cetera. I know it's not in vogue to pay running backs, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got an extension just because of who he is as a person, who he is as a player.
You want those guys in your locker room. That's what they need. You nailed it again.
It's been a big debate here, and I love David Montgomery, the player. To me, it's always coming down because the free agent field at that position is absolutely flooded from top to bottom with big time free agents. So it was always going to come down to money. And with it being so flooded, maybe it pushes him into a financial number where they do make that move. I mean, I see it. It's going to be interesting because I know everybody loves Khalil Herbert and the average, but if you can't fucking pass block, you can't be a starting tailback in the NFL. And he has shown no ability to pass block. I mean, some of the geez, I know Phil, you'll probably have some of it up this week, but I mean,
yeah, there was
I even have some
defense.
I even have defense of Dieter Eisland tape because he only got beat 2 plays, but we're hyping Braxton Jones 7 plays. But that stuff is how the tape never lies, Alex. But there's a play with Khalil Herbert.
The tape never lies.
No.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
It's a hell of a name.
Khalil Herbert on a scramble. This really bothered me. This is the different. This is what Shapiro's talking about. Because when you understand football, like at the roots, dogs, what we're talking about, the Bears don't have many of them, if any. They got, and you're talking about a guy going into free agency that is a dog, David Montgomery. Now the comparison, Herbert is, I forget what pattern he was running, but Justin scrambles out of the pocket. Herbert has a Detroit line. I think it's Anzalone running out to run after Justin Fields, and he just olays him. Doesn't put his body on him and give Justin that corner. All you had to do was give a little effort. That kind of stuff on tape says a lot about the player and what Shane's saying. You can't pass pro. If you're loafing like that, you can't be that.
Yeah,
now, I know he's the ultimate team guy. I spoke with David, and David thinks the world of Khalil Herbert, and that's good that you got that kind of like a competitive balance of carries, but that they like each other. That's another good thing. You keep that duo together is smart for me too. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I think I know what play you were talking about, and I had that exact same play circled, just like David Montgomery makes this block.
Exactly.
And here's the other reason you want both of them. They're just different backs. Khalil Herbert has a place in this offense. He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
valuable
100%.
piece of this offense. He is that one cut and I'm gone type player that this zone offense runs, right? When you just have to beat one guy. The hole's there, you have to beat one guy, beat him. He does that. But David Montgomery is your 3rd and 2, your 3rd and 1, your low red zone guy, and you need both. You need your 3rd down back, who is David Montgomery because he can pass pro, because he's a better pass catcher, where there's absolutely a role for each of these guys. And honestly, the offense is better when both of these guys are healthy. It's better when both of them are involved. You know, for a while, I was kind of beating the drum of David Montgomery is the bell cow back. David Montgomery is the identity of this offense. But as I've seen it progress, as I've seen Luke Getsy's offense progress, I've started to realize it actually, I think, is better when they are getting 50-50 splits, because Khalil Herbert does wonderful things. But he doesn't do what David Montgomery does. And that's good. That's a good thing. You want 2 different guys who can give you a little different flavor, that can keep a defense honest, that can open up your playbook, you know, so that you can be running on 3rd and 5 and you can be running on 3rd and 1 and you can be confident in each guy.
You look at the Bills, you look at the Packers, you look at all of the winning team have 2 guys. They really do, and they rotate them in. Even the Detroit Lions, they're showing you they got 2 guys, and that's important because, you know, that's where Getsy needs to be better situationally. It's 4th and goal at the 1, and you have Khalil Herbert in the game. That's coaching there. David Montgomery in the game, even if it's a action, because it threatens those linemen. Oh, they're going to give it to Dave. You've now played a trick on him, and that's, you know, I know it's his first year, but these situations, even this past weekend, Shane and I were talking, texting back and forth on that 3rd down where Herbert gets fucking nollywalked and he can't hit Pringle on that deep. If he had time, he hits Pringle right on that, and you have a drive there, but he couldn't step into the throw, and then Chubbs kills him because it wasn't a dime on accurate. Meanwhile, he's getting smacked with his hands getting hit as he's throwing it. But those things are situation. Bring David in on a 3rd down where you know he's going to be needing the pass pro. These type of chipping to help a Larry Borum out. Those types of things. What are your thoughts on Luke Getsy in his first season?
You know, up and down. There are lots of moments where I think brilliant play design. You know, he's shown a knack to get guys open, to scheme guys open. So many times we've just seen a tight end leaking and there's nobody there. And I credit Luke Getsy a lot for creating those play designs. The things that we saw last week, I thought were really creative. You know, I tweeted this out that I typically don't like funky personnel things, but this thing that they've got going where they motion Cole Kmet under center, then he takes the snap. We saw him do it once and sneak it, got a first down. And then we saw him flip it to Justin Fields and ended up being a great game. Things like that where I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's onto something. He's creative. And I also credit his ability to be flexible. You know, Justin Fields running the football was not a part of this offense early in the year. And then when they did their little, what's it called? Self-scouting, mini buy stuff, they realized this is actually the best thing we got going for us. And they totally reshaped that offense on the fly. I give them credit for that. There have also been moments where you have to call the play calling into question. I forget what game it was. It might've been the Bills game. I don't remember, to be honest, where Justin Fields hit Velus Jones on a 40-yard deep ball. And then they ran the ball something like 8 times in a row after that. And it's like, okay, God, why aren't we mixing in a pass?
That was in the wind and cold of the Bills game.
He forgets the Chase Claypool is pretty tall and big. So in the red zone, maybe we could, and same with Cole Kmet. Those types of things baffle me with him as well.
All fair criticism. So to me, it's up and down. He's a first-year guy, so I'll cut him some slack. Overall, I think he's done a really nice job as the offensive coordinator. The guys love him. They say he's an excellent teacher. They really believe in what's going on. And, you know, you can kind of tell when somebody says, yeah, I believe, but you're like, you're BSing me. When people say we believe in Luke Getsy, we think we're close. We think we're on the right track here. We're really excited to look and see where this is going. I get the sense that these guys are telling the truth. So I'm really interested to see how Luke Getsy grows in year 2. Does that play calling improve in some of those critical moments? Is he able to stay creative, right? Because, okay, they switched it up with this Justin Fields run first attack. And then all of a sudden we see defenses like really attacking that mesh. We see really defenses playing super honest on Justin Fields. They haven't done an awesome job adjusting. How do they adjust to the adjustment? All of that I will be keeping an eye on. To me, it's all question marks. But I'm definitely giving Luke Getsy the benefit of the doubt, giving him a little extra leash into next year to see how things go moving forward.
I know people don't like to talk about this, but going into next year, they're also not going to be contending for the number 1 or number 2 pick in the beginning of the season. And as much as people don't want to admit it, I think all of that comes into play with the play calls.
What do you mean?
I think that they get a big play and they clearly throttle it down for a specific reason.
Oh,
I don't think that's.
I don't know. I think they're trying to win football games.
It's pretty clear, Alex. I mean, you're hitting a guy on a 58-yard pass and then it's 8 straight runs. I mean,
there's other things in play too. Like in that weather, they were pretty clear about in certain areas of the field, our playbook looked different because the wind swirls in such a way in this specific area.
But I saw it in Atlanta. I saw it in Atlanta. They throttle things back. It's just, I know people don't want to talk about it and it's taboo.
That was the
whatever.
first time I questioned in Atlanta that this team was tanking. I saw it on film, and
I know it's tough. Nobody wants to talk about it, and I know especially you put something like, especially a guy in your
it could
position,
be that he's just
that
not
there,
a good play caller.
Oh, it could
That's
be,
the
but
thing. That's the scary
and
thing.
I don't think you can.
Where's the slant?
You get some better personnel. You might also have some better results because execution is a part of this. But get away from that. One of my questions I want to ask you, Alex, is along this offensive line, and one of the guys that is there that has had one of the most interesting off-season into the season years to me is Tevin Jenkins. Love the ability, crazy off-season training camp, gets in there, then he's out, and then they're platooning him, then he gets back in, and he's proving to be one of the best guards in the NFL. Injuries start to creep up, and I am at the point right now with Tevin Jenkins, as good as he is, I can't write his name on this depth chart in pen for 2023.
What?
Why
is that?
Because he's not reliable. He's not staying healthy. You look at his entire time in the NFL. How many games has he missed in 2 years?
He's missed a whole lot.
Yeah. And
he came in, he hurt.
They're not going to get rid of him, but I don't think that you can write his name and say we're set there, we're good, because I know Phil doesn't agree with me. I think that there's questions with Tevin Jenkins away from the football field and in terms of effort and focus off of the football field. And if he's bought in, Jeff Joniak talked to Tom Thayer about it during the Bears bye week. He said the number one thing that he wanted to see Tevin Jenkins in the facility every day, taking football serious, showing that it mattered to him every single day, not just on game day. That's a huge deal to me. Tom Thayer's not putting something like that out there for fucking clicks. That to me says a whole bunch. And the guy's not staying healthy on top of it. That's why I'm not writing his name in ink on the depth chart.
I hear what you're saying, and I hadn't heard that Tom Thayer quote, and that is,
it's on it's on their podcast leading up to the bye week. What he wants to see. Yeah,
interesting. But here's what I do see. What do you say? The tape doesn't lie. Tape never lies. I'm so sorry. The tape never lies. Here's what I see on game day, and I can't speak to any of that. I don't have any insight. What I see is this is the nastiest dude on the offensive line.
By far.
The dude who is by far the most dominant. Does he get beat sometimes? Yeah, but he's also we forget he's learning guard on the job. He started practicing at guard like a week before a preseason game, less than a week before a preseason game. It became the starting right guard, and in my opinion, has been the best offensive lineman when he's been there,
without a doubt.
Oh yeah, and that's not quite. He's their best offensive lineman by a country mile.
Yeah.
My thing is just Phil, you agreed with me when we talked about it last week.
No, I think you go into the season and you. First of all, I would put Tevin Jenkins at left tackle, and he'd be starting there.
Olin Kreutz,
that would be the reality, because putting this big man inside like that, and he's got back issues, you're already taking on it's just dumb. It's just so Bears. It's like Kyle Long, same shit. Putting your best at guard. No, put him at left tackle, and you've got, or right tackle, right, whatever. Put him at tackle and let him maul and dominate and use his athleticism. And you also keep him from putting his head in the position where you're going to get hurt a hell of a lot more. But that's where I see it. But I agree that you put him on pencil, because the goal is to get 7 offensive linemen in here that are going to compete to start. I have 0, and I don't know him. I met him in Dallas. I don't know him. He kind of alluded some stuff that I could talk to Alex off the air, because I promised to Coach Morgan I wouldn't say it on the show. But I don't know that these guys are coached very well at all. Watching their fundamentals, their technique, their finishing, it's just so many errors and so many situations. Like, there's one situation where everybody thinks Dieter got beat. There's one play that Dieter totally got beat, and he'll be the first one to tell you. But there's a blitz. The center calls the strong side the wrong side. So the blitz is coming and the defensive tackle's crashing with the end twisting inside. So the guard gets put on an island. Yep. And he pushes, and now he turned his shoulders and came back. And 55, he just carries him, and Justin was able to get away from him. But it looks like Dieter's getting blown up. Really, he's diving, trying to help. When you look at it on tape versus the thing, those types of things. But the reality is they need linemen, Shapiro. Yeah. That's really where it is.
Real quick, Olin Kreutz and Big Cat talked about this on their podcast. He talked about about this with Tevin.
Putting Tevin to tackle.
Yeah, he said what he has seen. He said when Tevin is in a position to deliver the blow, he destroys people. When Tevin is in a position where he's pulling and somebody is delivering the blow to him, he's not showing the ability to absorb the blow, and that's when he's getting hurt. And he said, and Big Cat agreed with him, you're putting him more at risk to get hurt inside rather than outside. And Olin said at this stage, as good as he's been inside, he's moving him out to right tackle.
Well,
because Olin
I've
was
said that all year, so I'm smarter than Olin.
Well, I'm going to listen to the Hall of Fame offensive lineman, but he
stole it from me at breakfast. Sure. He'll tell you.
Clearly, because he was praising, he said Braxton Jones needs to get stronger. I think everybody knows that. But he said Braxton Jones has exceeded his expectations where he had him going into the season. He didn't think that he was going to be where he is. Yes, there's a lot of warts there, but I mean, he's got those pencil legs. He needs some eating in a NFL strength program this offseason.
He needs to hang clean the whole Shapiro house all offseason. Just get those legs strong and explosive. Right?
He's going to hang clean me? He's lifting me?
The whole house, your whole house.
Oh, my home. I was going to say, I'm not heavy enough. He needs to lift somebody heavier than me.
I know that.
So, we covered Tevin. Who's going to be the starting center of the Chicago Bears in 2023?
Nobody knows.
I'd be lying if I told you I knew. I honestly think the Bears may be interested in seeing what Lucas Patrick could do at center. I mean, right? They brought him in to be the center. We never
2-year
saw
deal.
it. You know,
Yep.
we never saw it. He got hurt in training camp. Then they moved him to guard. That didn't work out. I mean, it's clear he's not the guard of the future. But center's a different ball game, and we only saw it for what, 7 snaps?
7 snaps. Yep.
So I think they're bringing somebody in maybe for some competition, or I also don't mind going in there with Sam Mustipher. I know Sam Mustipher is such a lightning rod, but I believe that this is also a guy who has value to this team as a swing center guard backup. Obviously, a reliable backup who can come in and who can do it. So I don't really know, but my
what about
hunch,
Kramer, the kid, the young Doug Kramer?
Yeah, that's interesting. The Liz Frank thing complicates things, and in training camp,
What'd you see?
He just wasn't there yet. Where can he do it? Sure, yes. Was he ready to do it for week 1 of this season? No, he wasn't. It was clear that Sam Mustipher was gonna be the guy. I'm not giving up on Doug Kramer, but it's tough that we saw him for so little. He had so little time on task, and then he has this injury that shuts down his whole year, where it becomes a big question mark.
I'm out of the muster camp 100%, but that's just, I want to be on the record. I'm ready to move on from Sam. I've seen enough. Lucas Patrick, to me, could have been in the disappointment bracket because he came out as Ryan Poles' prick. Remember, we got to have a prick.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. When you said that, wait, hold up. Wait.
That's our dogs. We call them dogs. He called him a prick. This guy's that, but I didn't see it at guard at all from Lucas Patrick.
Oh, no.
He looked horrific at guard.
Bad.
But it could have been his injury too. But he's in pencil as well because he has another year, right?
Yeah, Patrick.
So
he signed a 2-year deal. Yep.
Yeah, he'll be here. He'll be here. We'll see. I honestly would not be shocked if the Bears re-rack and say we're going into this offseason with Lucas Patrick as our starting center.
My big question is this is for me, the one I'm going to stay up at night. I didn't see the Equinemius St. Brown re-signing, but it's for little money, so I get it based on that. The big money deal is Cole Kmet going to be somebody they put big money behind, because I see Cole Kmet like you see Luke Getsy. It's like good, and then it's holy shit, you're that bad. Oh wow, you make that huge one-handed catch. Oh, you make a great block. The next play you miss. It's so inconsistent with him. Is he a part of the future with Justin Fields?
Yeah, I think he's certainly a part of their short-term future. There's no reason to get rid of him now. Ryan Griffin is probably gone. Trayvon Wesco has been interesting, as a rotational guy, but certainly replaceable. But Cole Kmet is a guy who has shown me enough flashes where I do want to see more, especially as this offense, as everybody continues to gel. They've only had 1 year together. A lot of it has been disjointed. The guys are still, pretty frank when they're like, we're still learning each other. We're still learning our strengths. We're still learning what's going on here. And I've seen enough growth in Cole Kmet as well. Did he take the big step that everybody expected? The big leap that people were hoping for as a serious pass catching threat this year? No, he didn't, but he really improved as a run blocker, and he has been great in certain situations, leading the charge out in front. As you alluded to, has he whiffed sometimes? 100%. There have been whiffs, but overall, I think he's been solid. And then to me, you could look at the production and you can see that it's disappointing, but I see him being used in certain situations that I say, they're using him situationally. They're using him in a role that I think is really helpful, like in the red zone in the lower red, right? I mean, that play action play last week for that touchdown, that's beautiful. That's exactly what I want Cole Kmet to do, right? If I'm a Bears coach, that's what I want Cole Kmet to do. Be available, catch a touchdown down there. On 3rd and 7, when we got to have a first down at midfield, we can go to Cole Kmet and he gets the first down. We've seen that, right? Do I want to see more seam passes, more of those 25-yard chunk plays down the field?
Yeah.
100%. That step still needs to happen. We've seen flashes. We haven't seen enough, but I've seen enough progress where I'm certainly not giving up on Cole Kmet.
Don't you think
he's got 1 year, right? He's going to be a free agent.
Him, Mooney, Claypool are all going into their final year. I think you're looking at like a 4 years, $32 million, $35 million deal. But I also think the Bears are going after a tight end in free agency.
They might. I mean, they could. But here's the other thing.
Or Schultz from Dallas. Evan Ingram is another guy that's out there. I think that's what eventually unlocks Cole Kmet. You get a legitimate passing, receiving threat at tight end. Then he's doing his blocking. Then you're going to see that seam route open up to him when they're following Gesicki downfield. You know what I mean? I think that's what unlocks him. And you have 2 tight ends. I mean, you look around, you look at Philly, you look at it's a quarterback's best friend. And with all this money, the Chiefs, 100%.
Everybody focuses on Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
What is it? Watson? Why is his name escaping me now? But the other guy is like also when everybody's focused on Kelce, the other guy makes great plays. And here's the other thing.
No matter what.
Right. But I think
triple coverage.
I think with this money, I think you see Gesicki, Dalton Schultz from Dallas.
Tight end is priority number 2. I guarantee you in free agency. Absolutely.
Interesting. I don't know about priority number 2, but it goes right back to our conversation about Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. There's absolutely room for 2 guys, and the Bears might be better with 2 guys, right? When they're doing 2 different things, when they're adding their own little flavor to the offense, it can absolutely help each guy and the offense as a whole take off. I don't know how it can be priority number 2, though. I mean, you have offensive line, you have wide receiver, you have defensive line, you have linebacker.
I think
it's
going
everywhere.
D-line big time in free agency. I mean,
I'm just telling you,
there's a pathway in free agency where I think they can come away. Cars and I have talked about it on Cars Keys, the show we have on this network. There's a pathway, definitely. I mean, even if Daron Payne doesn't hit the market, you're talking about guys like Draymond Jones that are going to be in play here. There's a pathway for the Bears to put a big dent in the defensive line just in free agency. And then, like you said, Alex, that opens it wide open into the draft. If you can fall back and get one of Dungy's blue chip players plus future assets, then it's a home run.
Yeah, this team's going to look really different next year. They're going to continue to turn this roster over. I mean, you think about it, it does feel like year 0 of a rebuild. There's going to be a ton of churn, in my opinion.
Now, I asked you the most disappointing player. Who was the guy that surprised you this year so much? So I think I know your answer because you might have mentioned, but I want to just be on the record here. Aside from Justin, obviously, that would be the easy answer. Who was the big surprise for you?
Another tough question. If you asked me last week before the Lions game, I probably would have said somebody like Josh Blackwell and gone really off the beaten path just because he's been so stellar.
Nothing wrong with that,
on special teams. And then when he comes in,
I was so disappointed that he got hurt.
Yeah, he did a bang up job, I thought in his first game, and then there was a bit of a regression against the Lions. Maybe. I don't want to say Eddie Jackson because I believed in Eddie Jackson. I thought that this guy was going to have a resurgent year this year. I thought he was totally made for this defense and could really find his way again as a free safety. Here's where I'll go with. Could you tell I was stalling while I was thinking, just completely stalling?
I was trying to give you the layup here.
It's probably Jack Sanborn. Jack Sanborn. Because I was like, we've talked about a lot of players. Who was I talking about? It's Jack Sanborn. I mean, I thought maybe this guy is fighting for a position as a Sam linebacker, and just the way things broke to step in and be such a reliable mic for the time that he was in.
Yep.
It was enormous. I mean, he was all over the field. He showed that he knew what to do. He was confident enough to fly to the ball and hit guys. And that's exactly what the Bears needed out of him. And I thought he did a really nice job for him, where the Jack Sanborn experience was, oh, interesting, undrafted free agent. We'll see how he does, and we'll see if he locks up a roster spot. To by the end of the summer, it was like, okay, yeah, this dude's on the 53. Now let's see kind of what he does on special teams. We'll see how else he can contribute to, hey, yeah, we want to see this guy on the field as the Sam or something too. Now he's the starting Mike linebacker and he's doing a bang-up job. What an excellent year for Jack Sanborn.
It was a great year. Sorry, Shane, real quick follow-up, because I see Herb Howard, our friend of our show, do some of these sit-down interviews.
Yes.
With some of the players. Are you allowed to do that, Alex? Because I would love to hear a sit-down with Jack Sanborn and talk to him.
I am. And Herb does an excellent job with those. Those are awesome. Does. Other guys on the beat do that as well. You see it. Nick Moriano also does an excellent job with those. Carmen, I think, when he does his videos, he asks wonderful questions. To me, that's just not my style. I kind of like being a little bit more low key. I hold my recorder kind of in my hand. I don't try and make a big deal out of it. And I'm just trying to talk with the guys, that's just, in my opinion, whatever. It's kind of what I'm more comfortable with. That's how I've found a way to build a rapport with these guys and get stories. And I understand that. I love those sit down interviews with the camera. It's great. But for me,
even without it, I would like to know who this guy is. That to me, I think Bear fans, this guy, undrafted afterthought, we broke him down in the offseason. I was very high on the kid because I was so excited about Leo Chanel, his teammate, and some of the athletic numbers that he put out there. And then you watch the tape and there's Sanborn doing all the dirty work, reading his key. And then me and my father and Shane and everyone was like, wow, this Bears. I still remember Shane, my father, and me, like a chorus saying the Bears might have gotten themselves a goddamn football player here with Sanborn. And then when he got his shot, he's there. So
yeah,
I just did maybe an article by you.
So that is interesting. I might do that just because it would be a lot less work on my part. You're talking just like a full Q&A. Here's what I said. Here's what he said. That's not a bad idea. Maybe I will. I do. So, I do. I talk with these guys for 4 or 5 minutes, and then, I pick out the bites, I pick out the quotes, and I try and weave a narrative around that. If I can say something and paraphrase it, I'll do that. If he has a quote, the quote is so strong, I use that quote, and that leads to excellent stories. Like I do a lot of silly things like Justin Fields bought all the offensive linemen grills and here's what they're all grilling, or, Christmas plans. And all of that it just comes from conversations, from sitting down with these guys in the locker room and having conversations. And sometimes it leads to serious things. Probably the story I'm most proud of this year was talking with Eddie about, the struggles of he and his girlfriend and their miscarriages and their failed pregnancy. And, that story came about, it was literally months of sitting down with him and talking with him and talking with other guys. And that's really the name of the game. That is the name of the game. That's how you get your stuff. However, I love your idea because, again, from my perspective, it's a lot less work. I just transcribe everything. Don't have to worry about weaving a narrative. So maybe I'll come up with one thing where I'm just going to have a one-on-one with this guy about XYZ topics. I'm not going to edit it whatsoever. And I'm going to credit DDP for his editorial guidance. And I'll go home an hour earlier. I kind of love it.
Well, I like.
Up next on NBC Sports, Alex Shapiro sits down with Cairo Santos. Cairo, what's up with the extra points, man?
Cairo Santos is one of my absolute favorite people to talk to.
Yeah.
The dude is so great. He's so knowledgeable. He's so detailed. It's actually, I'm a kind of bummed. One thing, I never had time to do it. It never came to fruition. I had this awesome conversation with him about the World Cup and how important soccer is to Brazilians and how like he wanted to be a soccer player, but whatever, he just ended up being a football player. And I wanted to write that story, but you know, you don't have time for everything. But something of that nature, like, yeah, maybe I should have just said, here are my questions for Cairo Santos about the World Cup. And here's exactly what he said. And I could have gotten it out bing, bang, bong real easy. But yes,
I'm glad
if I could talk to
skipped that
Cairo
one.
Santos, if I could talk with Cairo Santos every day, I would. What a guy.
Alex, when you look at this team, and let's remove the quarterback from it, what gives you the most hope about them moving forward? Is it the head coach? Is it the front office? What is it?
I mean, you took away the one thing that really gives.
Well,
me the
yeah,
most
no,
hope,
but that's what,
which is the quarterback.
But beyond that, what is it? I mean, do you have more faith in the front office maybe than the coaching staff, or is it I guess is it them as a whole?
Here's what gives me hope if we're taking out Justin Fields, is that the dudes have legitimately bought into the hits. Now this week, I did not think the effort was there.
Nope.
I thought it was subpar. Up to that point, I mean, the Bears had absolutely no quit in them. You know, they were fighting. They were playing the way that Matt Eberflus wants them to play. And something I'll give Matt Eberflus credit for is that he's the exact same guy no matter what's happening. Big win, big loss, whatever. He's the exact same guy. And I think the Hits Foundation can get these guys to play their best ball, to maximize these guys. And I think, you know, with this foundation, and that includes Justin Fields, once they get that influx of talent, when Eberflus says we're building a championship culture, we're building championship habits, I believe it. I see it. Again, the Lions game was a little bit of a rude wake-up call. Like right at the end of the season, I didn't think that was the standard. We'll see how they come out against the Vikings with Nathan Peterman in a totally meaningless game when the Vikings are probably going to be benching a lot of their starters after the first quarter or second quarter, what have you. But for the most part, I really genuinely believe the guys have bought in to what Eberflus is building. I give Eberflus a lot of credit for really turning things around, for doing things his own way, sticking to it. And I think once the personnel gets better, they're setting themselves up to have success.
Speaking of personnel, the Bears traded a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool, in my mind, based on free agency of what is going to be available or whatever, is somebody I totally think is athletic, is the type of receiver that Justin needs. But since he's come here, he's not been used any way in which I believed that he was going to be used. And when he was used in a way, you've gotten interference calls, catches down the sidelines. What is the disconnect here? What is your thoughts of this young man? Is that why he's out of Pittsburgh? Is there some sort of disconnect in football intellect, or does he love the game? I don't get why he's been used in this. Maybe you have some insight on it.
I have the exact same question as you, because it was trending like, okay, he's building more. They're doing more things for him. At first, it was the screen game. It was the very limited package. And then we're starting to see the deep shots. That Miami game I thought was going to be a springboard to Chase Claypool is taking over as the number one receiver on this team, and it just didn't happen. I don't know him well enough at this point to talk about his effort, to talk about his want to, or any of that. But I think it maybe is taking him a little bit longer to get the full offense down. You can
see it in game. I mean, you could see it in the Detroit game.
Right. We've seen him still struggling to get lined up in the right places, but we've seen that from a lot of guys, to be honest. And when you think, players like Dante Pettis, players like Byron Pringle, players like EQ, they've been working at this for months and months and months and months. And it's like, again, still those issues, still those hiccups. So I understand it with him where it might just be it's everybody still getting familiar with the deal, but it is weird. It's weird that it kind of stagnated again last week. And I know he's limited with the knee, but he's cleared to play. So he's cleared to play. Why isn't Chase Claypool getting 10 targets a game? Why aren't they just finding a way to get him the ball? And I know defenses will do things to take him away, or defenses will do things to focus on him. But again, like I alluded to, Luke Getsy has shown me he has a knack for scheming guys open. I want to see more of that for Chase Claypool. There is obviously something, there is some sort of disconnect. I don't know what it is. Couldn't tell you, but I have the exact same question. What's going on there?
Alex, when you look at this, I mean, we're talking about wide receivers, and I tend to look at my perspective as more from a GM point of view, whereas Phil's is more of a coach. I look at this team, and I mean, with all of this cap space, I think that they're going to be fully involved in a guy like DeAndre Hopkins potentially getting out of Arizona, depending on what happens in Tampa. If Tom Brady bounces and they're going to be tearing it down, does Mike Evans become available? And I mean, but all of that, even, I mean, you can go to a lesser talent and look at Carolina and a potential trade down. You're getting picks and you're getting a wide receiver like DJ Moore, or a defensive end like Brian Burns in any type of trade down. Where do you think that is on the Bears list, is to go out and get Justin? We're talking about dogs going on. I mean, you see, as of a couple of weeks ago, 4 out of the top 5 receiving yardage leaders in the NFL were all guys that were traded for. Justin Jefferson was the guy that was drafted. Everybody else was traded for. Do you expect them to be heavily involved in that market with potentially a D-Hop or with a Mike Evans or somebody of that ilk?
Yeah, the Bears know they need to get him a number 1 wide receiver. And I think that the Claypool trade was them trying to do that. And they are going to continue to try to do that. They know, they talk about it openly.
Yeah.
We need a dynamic number 1 guy. It's no secret. It's no secret that that's the way to have success in the NFL on offense. So I do expect them to be involved, and I do expect them to spend their free agent dollars. Like we said, winning is everything. And these guys are judged on wins and losses. Leashes are as short as they have ever been in the NFL, and they know they got to win. They got to win. And they have Justin Fields now on this rookie deal now. So, that just puts the pressure on even more. Figure this out while Justin Fields is on his rookie deal. Get it turned around so that you're competing right away. And yeah, I expect them to be involved in any way, shape, or form to bring guys in to help Justin Fields, to help the whole team.
What's Alex Shapiro's preference?
What's my preference? Yeah. Among all the guys you listed?
Who would be your dog that could potentially be? Yeah, I mean, that's mine. Yeah.
Hopkins is that's like Spider-Man.
Well, you go Hopkins, Claypool, Mooney, then you're talking about something.
That's like the show The Swan.
Yeah. Can I go totally ridiculous nonsense that's never going to happen, but it's my pipe dream?
Oh, sure. Here we go.
Are you
Justin
ready?
Justin Jefferson.
I mean, no, that's beyond.
Are you going to Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason, because the Raiders really are a mystery. I don't think anyone really knows what the Raiders are going to do. But if the Raiders, for whatever reason, are like, actually, we're tearing this down, because we know they're making the change to Derek Carr. I think everybody expects them to go get Tom Brady and let Tom Brady throw to Devontae Adams. But if for whatever reason they're tearing that down, I'm doing whatever it takes to get Devontae Adams. I mean, this dude is still elite. He's incredible.
Oh, my God.
Him and Justin Fields would be nutso crazy. I mean,
that would be a great.
That's the ultimate.
Again, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen, but that would be so fun.
It could happen. Don't
instant
say
change,
never.
instant impact. No, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry,
Khalil
DDP.
Mack.
It ain't gonna happen.
Khalil Mack.
Come on, there was one point we thought
That's a good point.
there was at one point we thought Kellen Mond was going to be the quarterback here in the draft because we weren't going to be able to trade up. So yeah,
we were kind of saying, hey, who knows? Because Ryan Poles and Matt Nagy, they were desperate. They knew they had to win immediately. We were kind of putting that out there, like, yo, if the Bears get Justin Fields, this could happen. They could trade up if things break the right way. Wouldn't that be crazy?
The Jets.
Look at us now.
We did a draft show on draft eve, and our guy Matt Carsonson, Bears nerd, he was running a live mock, and that was
a live mock. He traded up and got.
He
him.
made the move up for Justin
Fields.
He went to 10, I believe.
Oh wow, pretty
close. Was it with Carolina? I think
it was with Carolina or
were they 9? They were 9. Well, it was 9 and 10, but it was it wasn't the Giants, but it was right within the area of where they went. But yeah, I had the feeling, but yeah, man, I couldn't talk myself into like, holy shit, this is actually gonna work out for this moribund franchise.
Devontae Adams would be nuts. If I have to go for another one, that's maybe I don't know. These are all pipe dreams. I also love Mike Evans. I mean, I know he had some high profile drops this year. To me, that feels like a fluke. Dude is still elite. Dude still got it. What an unbelievable talent.
9 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career.
Unreal.
That's
unbelievable. So yeah, bring Mike Evans on board. He's a number one. He's elite.
Look at that. I don't know how much more time you have. We've kept you on for a long time.
You're giving the poor guy work. Now he's got to go. He's got to go write that Jack.
I'm helping him out. He just said you've made my life easier. Pay attention.
Incredible.
I would love to see a few of those. A Claypool interview, since you don't know him. That would be dope too. Like
maybe I'll just go through my old recordings and just publish old recordings.
There you go.
Why not?
Seriously, I think fans really need. I think a lot of the effort now in writing is to get the hot narrative, big headline quote, right? But I think our community, the TTNL family, would all agree that getting to know some of these guys that are a part of the future or could be is something, a necessity that we don't get. And the Chicago Bears themselves, I've said this, I'm not breaking news. Alex, I'm saying this. Shane and I have said this several times. I mean, I was a kid getting the Bear Report as a Christmas gift from my mom.
Yeah.
And it was like cover to cover. I read it like it was like Captain Crunchberries on a Saturday morning. That's how it was for me. So with this, I just think the ChicagoBears.com and all that, they do such a shitty job of allowing the fan to know the player. Okay, let's put a camera up. DC or Marvel, and that ain't getting to know. I want to know, it was you that really brought out this, because I was a non-believer in Eddie Jackson. I'm like, this motherfucker ain't gonna buy into the hits. He's had a terrible tackling
his entire life, though, Phil. I'm an Alabama guy, and Saban benched him for not tackling.
Yes.
He's a guy that's been needed to be coached hard.
But if it wasn't for Shapiro, we would never know that this dude was dealing with something personal that is so heavy, so
absolutely
enormous in your life that now it kind of, oh my God. It's so to see his effort this year, maybe just sharing that with Alex opened him up to being the bad, that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't go that far. I appreciate kind words. I am not giving myself a modicum of credit. First of all, he was already playing very well when he shared that with me.
Yep.
That was one of the reasons I was talking to him, was like, yo, dude, we talked about you having this Renaissance season and now it's happening. And, one thing led to another from there. So no, I will not take credit for Eddie Jackson having a good season, but I do appreciate the kind words, and I do appreciate, that people like reading those stories, because those are the stories that I I like telling. How many ways can you write Bears are bad at tackling and need better gap integrity? We know you can only write that story so many times. So I like telling those other stories.
Alex, we need you to break down a little piece of tape here. I'm going to play it for, and I want you to give me your thoughts on it real quick.
Oh boy, is this
Golly, what the hell is going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I need that one more time. I heard Ken Davis.
Golly, what the hell is going on?
Golly, what the
Good
hell
golly,
is going
what
on?
the hell is going on? He's our guy. How awesome is Kenneth Davis?
Oh, Kenneth is the man. I love that guy. It's been such a pleasure working with him, getting to know him, where I feel like we've gone from colleagues to friends.
Yeah.
The fearless leader of the Under Center podcast, Kenneth Davis is the best. And okay, it goes back to this TTNL. So, okay, again, more sharing about personal stuff, the fun stories. When we got together for your TTNL party,
yes,
it was lovely. And you could tell immediately that there's it's beyond work. It's beyond whatever. It feels like family. And to be included in that, I really appreciated that. And it meant the world that you would include me in that. But, I feel similarly, with Kenneth, that guy's my guy. That guy's my guy, his family is wonderful. I've gotten to know his kids a little bit. Afton is wonderful. Afton and my wife are now friends. They, I remember her saying oh my gosh, I'm so sad Kate's not here. Kenneth Davis
I did invite Kate too. We did.
Huh? I know Kate was. I forget where she was. She was out of town or something. She was. She couldn't make it.
But you came, and I was just gonna say that. It was such a pleasure having you there, and meeting in person. We've had these moments with you on the show. You're not a TTNL virgin, but
we'll get that.
We're gonna fix that.
I feel like a vet by now.
Yes,
you're a vet. We'll get that. We'll get that fixed.
I gotta give love to my guy Josh Schrock too. Love Kenneth Davis, but Josh.
You gotta get Josh on here.
We haven't had Josh on yet.
He's a lovely addition because I feel like we've got a good thing where I am just so. I mean, I can be a lot. I'm opinionated. I'm a vibes guy. He has to listen to me rant and rave about USC all day long. He's an Oregon Duck, so it obviously drives him nuts. We've got a good back and forth.
Did you want to talk about Tulane at all?
No comment. No comment.
First of all,
we're talking about here's my comment,
bro.
Here's my comment. We're talking about a Cotton Bowl.
Yeah,
we're talking about
right.
Okay. The order of importance for USC football: Pac-12 championships, Rose Bowls, Natties. Yeah, Cotton Bowl ain't on that list. So
they won the Heisman.
It's like being a Notre Dame fan.
Not on the list. Not happy for Caleb Williams. Completely deserving. Phenomenal player. Was so fun watching him. Not on the list. I want Pac-12 titles, Rose Bowls, and Natties.
It is, as me and Chris Zorich have a show, and we'll be on live pregame next week for the national championship. Early, and then after the game, we'll go on quick, kind of wrap it up. But we were talking how college football is so much better when USC is good, and people can hate that, but I really enjoy. I was pulling for USC versus Utah, and that one hurt, and then to ultimately get.
Do you have a
to where
quick
you are.
synopsis on Addison, since we're in the market for a wide receiver?
I think he's a wonderful player. I don't know that he's the wide receiver for the Bears, though. If I'm being fully honest, I am looking more towards a Quentin Johnston. Going back to Utah, though, and going back to our tight end discussion, how about Dalton Kincaid? Oh my goodness,
just
that
gets
guy
open.
Animal. Yep.
People talk about all these different tight ends, about this, that, and the other thing. He almost never gets brought up, which is shocking to me because, I mean, that dude is a football player.
That's the problem. That's what they do. That's what happened with Kittle when I was scouting. I'm like, this kid's a fucking football player, and it was shocking.
And a Bears fan.
If you look back, Yeah, you looked at all his combine numbers. Kittle was like outrageously athletic in the RAS scores. So I was like, this is going to be a layup for Ryan Pace, who really, thought. And then we got Adam Shaheen.
If you want a Trojan, I'll give you a Trojan who the Bears
Give me a
take
Trojan.
A hard look at Andrew Voorhees.
Yeah.
I know he's banged up. He got
I just
hurt
want to
late
wear
in
the
season.
Jason mask.
Yeah.
Right. We need some Jason dudes. We need some nasty killers out there.
We'll be like,
yes.
I love
Jason. There's that Halloween. No, that's Jason. That's Jason. My bad.
That used to bug me out, bro. Back in the day.
It's creepy. But right, I mean, the Bears need all sorts of talent on the offensive line. Andrew Voorhees, I think, would fit right in there.
Hell yeah. Count me in on that too.
Yeah, Ben's with you. Ben's been involved in all of our draft talk. He's been all over it. Oh yeah.
He's been all over it.
Yep.
Then they had the freaking rugby player coming in, and he's blowing up at Utah, the tight end over there. But anyway, you've said it all, Mr. Shapiro. Do you have anything you're watching right now that people should be
watching? Okay, so 2 shows that my wife and I have been kind of going between. I have never watched The West Wing. She's a big West Wing fan, so we've been slowly now going through it. It is a very fun show.
Is that an endorsement for it?
It is. Well, here's the thing. I enjoy it
slowly.
He's trying not to piss off his wife.
No. I am notorious. She hates this about me. I am a notorious low TV watcher where I just fizzle out. I'm like, I watch 2 episodes, 3 episodes. And I'm like, all right, we got to cool it on this show a little bit. I am I'm the anti-binger. It takes me a very long show, a very long time to watch shows. I very rarely complete TV shows. I mean, maybe the only television series that I ever watched all the way through is The Sopranos. I can't think of anything else I've watched start to finish.
That's a good one to watch through. We were just having this conversation with my wife. I was complaining. I cheat on her because she can't handle
that.
She can't handle the shows. I have my shows, and I have the shows that I can be patient so she don't fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly. I sometimes question if Aaron Sorkin has ever had a human conversation while watching The West Wing. But it is delightful. It's heartwarming.
What's the other show?
Mythic Quest on Apple TV.
Oh, I watched that.
Yeah,
that's a good show.
Also great, right?
Underrated.
It's always sunny, dudes. It's wholesome. It's heartwarming. It's also very funny. And so probably my one hobby outside of watching football, I'm a bit of a gamer. So it's nice to have
Xbox or PS5.
Xbox or PS4. Fine.
Xbox.
Oh my God.
Although so Kate and I are facing off in our fantasy championship. It's never happened before. It's a total family situation.
Dang.
It's
so
our
you're
USC
both
league.
Gonna win.
Right. But if I win, I'm like, yo, I'm putting this money towards a PS5 though. What have I been playing? I was big into Elden Ring. That was probably my big game of the year. That game
really?
Yes.
That's a role-playing game, correct?
It is. It's an RPG from Software. I had never played a From Software game. They're very difficult. I found it incredibly rewarding. So those are maybe how I spend my time more is, sometimes playing Elden Ring and then watching Mythic Quest and West Wing.
You don't have any kids yet.
No kids yet. So we have all the time.
Video game dies after that.
Are you interested in a almost 2-year-old daughter? I could FedEx her over.
I don't think I can make this decision unilaterally, but let me get back to you.
Weekends and holidays. Yes.
Listen, she's lucky. Alex, I love her.
I love you, man. I love your pure passion for your job, and that reams over every time you come here and talk with us. And I love the fact that you are such a good human being. I always talk, Kenneth Davis, obviously, Kenneth would probably watch this. We can give some speeches at his renuptials for him, because we all think so highly of him. But same thing with you, Alex. You're just a stand-up. You've always supported what we do here, and you understand it, and you've always been in our corner. You're not one of these media types that's thumbing their noses up. And we've been fortunate that we have a lot of people, as I said that night when I gave the longest toast ever, that even on opposite ends, ESPN and NBC, you're competitors, but you've always supported TTNL, and that means a lot to us, seriously.
I really appreciate it too. I mean, you guys are great. I love coming on here, so it's truly my pleasure. Really appreciate the kind words. You guys do a good thing here, so yeah. Like I said, it's my pleasure. Love coming on, and I appreciate that you have invited me into this space, because it's also clear how much this means to you, and you guys know your stuff. The tape never lies.
There
the tape
you
never
go.
lies.
We got to get Eberflus to say it. I got Ian Cunningham to say it in Dallas.
We had Robert Quinn say it too, but then they traded him a couple.
Then
days
of course
later.
they traded him.
Yeah.
Don't trade Shapiro, please.
That'd be something.
We love you, man. You have a great night. Let's rekindle this as we get in the off season with your takes on what they're doing early in free agency. I think we got to get you back. I want to see what your grades are at in regards to where this bus is moving. Have they announced they normally do a presser with
Yes.
they
So
have
we
announced
half of it.
Oh,
Let's see if I can get
break.
it for
Can you break that news for us? Or
Monday.
does Shane already know?
Monday, January 9th, we will have open locker room availability. GM Ryan Poles and head coach Matt Eberflus will be available next week. Time and date TBD, meaning the following week.
Will Ted Phillips have a going away presser?
Can't speak to that.
The smile on your face. I love you. Oh man, you have a great night. Say hello to the wife for us next year. We're in Chicago. We're gonna be downtown. We already have the spot. Cherie, myself, my wife, and Jim have already selected where we're gonna have the TTNL party. Right, Cherie? It's gonna be absolutely great.
And I promise I will be there. We'll have
James
no more.
there.
I already told my family
snowshoes.
members if there's funerals, anything, I will not be attending. I will be at the TTNL party.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, everybody. Like I said, it's been a pleasure, and thanks to all the fans. I see you guys in the chat. Really appreciate it. You guys are the best. You guys have a wonderful thing going here. Great network, great family. And yes, I would love to come back. I'll definitely see you guys at some point this offseason.
We'll see you next year. And your wife will be there as well downtown with us. So
all right.
All the best. Enjoy the West Wing and Elder Scrolls 2.
No,
Elden Ring. Come on.
Elden Ring. Sorry. Elder Scrolls. I remember.
He's got to go and get fitted for that fantasy football championship belt so he can rub it in.
We'll see. But anyways, yeah, thanks again, fellas. Have a
All right,
wonderful
Alex.
evening. I'll catch
Thanks,
you later.
sir.
Alex Shapiro.
Good stuff.
What a great job. What great stuff.
Hey, real quick, a little update from my dumbass. I scheduled Cars Keys for tomorrow night and actually hit tonight on the date. So
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
Not only in a dumbass.
So, man, I fucked up, but for sure.
Okay.
So, man,
I didn't even know it until Cars texted me and it was like, whoops. There was people in the chat rooms like, when the fuck is this show gonna start? It's supposed to start at 8:00 and it's 10:30 East, and there's still people in the chat room over there.
Why are you in the chat over there and not here, you assholes? For fuck's sake. Not only is Shane not the smartest man for doing that
I'm
tonight,
slacking. Yeah,
we have
Bratcher
breaking
threw-
news as well.
Bratcher threw
Bratcher
me off my
left.
game. He fucking showed up. Yeah.
Bratcher was here for a New York minute.
Yeah.
Heard the Herbert comment, ran away. No, but update from Chris Jackal. He is having some father issues that he's going to be unavailable tonight.
With his dad or with him being a dad?
All I'll say is it has to do with
or
him.
Oh wait, no, we have some surveillance video of the Jackal.
Well,
Okay, Cherie. Jeez, you'd have to butt in there. Hopefully he's watching live because that will set the mood, as they say.
Yes, hopefully he's watching live. But what a great interview with Alex Shapiro to get you ready for the offseason.
I should have hit him up. I had to tell him that I'm on my original Twitter account. That was pre Alex Shapiro. So I'll send him a DM from the other one. But want to send him that link to the Joniak and Thayer comment on Tevin. I mean, I don't dismiss that. Thayer's not throwing shit out there for clicks. I mean, we don't need to go down that.
Well, Thayer is a passionate guy.
Sure.
I can talk to that. I mean, he shared some things with me about this football team and what have you that I can't share, but he is a passionate guy and he wants to see. I know Thayer loves this and is kind of hamstrung by the organization for what he can and cannot do or say. So the fact that he said that is, points in the corner of what you're saying. I just think, I don't remember which fan in the chat said it, so I apologize, but I think you hit it right out of the park. I'm a big believer in just as a parent, you got to understand that I have twins, so it's even more relevant for me because one kid is one way. This other twin is complete opposite. I have to parent them completely different. And sometimes I get caught in that place between a shit and a fart that you get to boy, so even tonight I had to mentally change my whole game. I was a mastermind. I was proud. My wife is even texting me that was brilliant of how I got my son. And that's what Coach Eberflus has to do with Tevin Jenkins, Angelo, like I did with Angelo. Unlock the trust in him. And, we can agree or be wherever we want to be with this stuff. But I believe Olin and myself and other people, Steve Edwards, who we got to get him back. He said it himself. You got to move Tevin to tackle, and hopefully they do that in this offseason and go, because it's clear and evident that not only does he probably want and be motivated by that kind of reward, I think you've already seen the kind of talent he has. But again, if he's being and I'm not trying to cover all the bases. I'm just trying to remember some of the talking points. If he's being a selfish prick, then you put that asshole on the bench, no matter who he is. Khalil Mack.
He's on IR now, so it's a moot.
Right. I'm just saying if that's what's going on with somebody and they're not buying into what it is that you're trying to do to help them. I think Mike Ditka said it. You put Bill Parcells said it. You put players in places they don't want to be. They fight, kick, scratch, and claw until they understand, wow, he was doing this for the benefit of me. That's what I hope Tevin Jenkins comes around, because Larry Borum to me was one of those guys.
I thought
big disappointment.
Yeah, you're disappointed. You mentioned it on BHL. I thought that's you were going to bring that up tonight, but
Tevin.
To me, number one, Larry's he's got to get in shape. He is sloppy.
They both do.
Yeah. No, yeah, Tevin, Tevin, it was very noticeable him walking off the field. I was like,
But
God
Tevin
damn,
moves like
Yeah.
for an athlete. Who was that linebacker that I never could believe could move like the Steelers? He was like 300 pounds.
Kirkland?
Yeah, Levon Kirkland.
Yeah.
I'm like, his body, this dude should be, he fucking just played the game. Some guys carry it. Like, I'm not worried about Tevin, but to your point, like with Cole Kmet, just watching the tape, there's moments Cole Kmet is soft as puppy shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to get that dog. Like, you should not be intimidated by Anzalone. Like, you should fucking put that long-haired freak on his ass. Like, get up in there and just drop his ass. Like, I know you can get it out of players if they love the game. If they don't love the game, it's never going to come out of them. It's never. And there's certain things about Tevin where he admitted, I was going to Pilates to strengthen my core to help. That's good. People were making fun of that shit. That's fucking good.
I don't think that they were making fun of that so much. He made it sound like an infomercial for that place, the way that he was talking about it.
The second time he doubled down.
It was like they said, we're giving him some fucking gift certificates. If you can mention this 7 times, you'll get free tacos. You know, it was very odd.
How comfortable are you guys with Braxton Jones being the starting left tackle? We talked
right now. I'm not, but I think he's warranted enough for you to give him an NFL offseason. Like I said, I've talked about this on Cars Keys, talked about it on BHL, I've talked about it here. There's nobody on this offensive line or defensive line that I go into free agency or to the draft and I say, all right, I got this guy here. I can't take this guy because I think he's an excellent player, but I have this guy. None of those guys are a factor. If I go into the draft and the top player on my board is a left tackle, I'm fucking drafting him. It's that simple for me.
That's
with the way that this
competition.
roster.
Yeah, if they stick with one guy and they're like, this is our guy, that's killing competition and pretty much going back on everything that they were talking about creating here as the Chicago Bears.
He hasn't had a great year, but still, there's a guy has a connection to Ryan Poles if he hits free agency. I don't happen to believe that he will with what they gave up for him, but you look to Kansas City. If Orlando Brown is an unrestricted free agent, he was directly involved with getting him to Kansas City. That's still very young. And if Kansas City decides that, they have a lot of money invested in other areas and they want to go in a different direction, then you look at a guy like Orlando Brown, even though he hasn't had, a top end type year in my calculations, but that's the type of thing where you can't say we don't need him or we don't need to explore that because we have this guy here or, so on and so forth down the line. But, when I brought up that thing with Tevin, it kind of surprised me a little bit with Alex because he seemed like he was truly all in. Chisel it and stone Tevin Jenkins, right guard 2023. So it's interesting.
He's got. You and I want competition. That's the only reason why he's penciled to me. If he was playing left tackle or right, he's penned in on me. That's how much I believe in him. He's played 13 games out of 19. It's not like you got to remember that he was injured in camp, or he might have had that injury. That we were looking at another Williams situation, Chris Williams.
13 out of 19, Phillies. This is his second year. They've played 32 after this week.
There was a number someone put up there, I thought.
Well, they're really bad at math then.
Well, we'll look into how many games this dude's played. We'll look into that. But again, the injury concerns you should have. The injury concerns you should have. There's no
100%.
And that's why Shane's right that you pencil him in. You pencil him in. Is he really penciled in right now? this guy's the best offensive lineman they have.
2022 is 13 out of 19 games. That's, I think, what they said.
Oh, okay. He played 13 out of the 19 this year.
And then
He
last
also
year
had to leave.
Yeah,
a
last
couple of those games.
year he started from week 12 on. Or he played from week 12 on, excuse me.
But I mean, 19 games, they only play 18.
No,
everybody.
because they're talking about the weeks. I think they put the bye week in.
Yeah, I think they include that.
Oh, well, so yeah. But
So looking on the Bears app, it shows total games played in the last 2 years of 17 games.
yeah, so he's missed
That's
almost.
played, not started, but just taking.
Yeah, so he's missed almost 50%.
So there you go. The injuries are a real concern.
Oh, and I'm not he is your best offensive lineman.
Typical Bears. I don't listen to many podcasts. I've said it before. I'm listening to a book right now. So I try to listen to the book and try to zen myself in. But if Big Cat Williams, Olin Cruz, Coach Atoshin Sr., myself, and Steve Edwards, that's like 5 guys that I really think know the offensive line are saying put them at tackle, help them out. That to me it should be a red flag. Maybe it's not for Cars he played great at guard. Why are we trying to move him?
Or at the same time, you have 2 guys at the top of the food chain in the front office that both played offensive line. That obviously he didn't. They didn't even put him there to start mini camp or training camp. That my belief was, if they had any thought that they believed in him as a left tackle, they would have let him proved throughout the offseason and into training camp that he couldn't do it. To me, Phil, let's be honest, you didn't project him there, and that's fine. You didn't project him at guard, but there was lots of people in the draft that did project him at offensive guard. And obviously, Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham were 2 of them.
Well, that's what I question. Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham should have nothing to say with a guy that's on the roster, but the offensive line coach should be saying, where does he want him playing? That's what Ryan Poles should be doing.
Phil, they're still breaking him down. Moving forward, there's pro personnel guys and all of that. They're still breaking down of where they think that he should.
But if the offensive line coach says, I believe in him and tackle, no, we want him at guard, then I wouldn't want my GM doing that.
But who said that who said that Chris Morgan? I have no basis saying that Chris Morgan went.
You're saying Ian Cunningham and.
I'm saying before the draft, when Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham were here, when I believe they had
the same guys put this guy that's their 5th round pick, who's getting mollywopped every fucking week.
How do you know they did it though? How do you know that Chris Morgan didn't do it? The guy that you're talking about.
I was just saying you're using Ian and him.
No, I'm talking pre-draft, Phil. They didn't even put Tevin Jenkins at left tackle.
Right.
Pre-draft.
That's questionable to me. Or right tackle. I don't care. Either one of the tackles.
Yeah, and
something to look at with Poles and Cunningham.
Oh, I'm not saying that they can't be questioned. Yeah, I'm not saying that they can't be questioned, but to their point, we're not bitching him. But when he plays, he's a top end offensive guard in the NFL.
And he's learning on the job.
The little amount that he played, which it's not enough to go forward with, I don't think he was anywhere near that in his limited sample size at offensive tackle.
What would he be at left tackle in his second year? That's what you and I believe the Bears dropped the ball on. They should have found that answer out.
Early on Cars Keys, he asked me what my ideal, if I could just snap my fingers and have the offensive line out there. I have always maintained that I would love
Tevin Jenkins to be out there and prove to me that he can't do it. Because at the end of the day,
That's
if
smart.
you're an offensive tackle and you can't cut it, then my next step is easy. I push you inside. It doesn't normally work the other way unless you're the Chicago Bears, who's we're going to start you inside and then we're going to.
All I'm saying is this
push
has
right.
happened in this football culture of the Bears. With Kyle Long is my perfect example of it. But we'll see where this goes. But Lucas Patrick, is he?
None of these guys can be, like I said, this entire depth chart at offensive line. Cody Whitehair has been abysmal, and I know that there's been injuries involved there, but none of these guys, Phil. That's why I said it's so critical when you and I talked about it. The two most important lines or positional groups beyond quarterback on your football team are offensive and defensive lines. And we can't sit here with a straight face and say that dude is solidified, locked in stone, going to be there in 2023 and start and be relied upon. There's plenty of backups that I can say that they're going to, you know what I mean? Dominique Robinson isn't going anywhere. Travis Gibson is under contract. Guys like that. Justin Jones has played well enough to be back next year. I happen to think that he's going to be better. I want them to get to a point on this defensive line where Justin Jones is your third guy, not your number two. You know what I mean? In a rotation, he's a guy that you're bringing in. You know, you look at Philly. They're getting Robert Quinn and somebody else back this week, and I mean they're so ridiculously deep on their defensive line. That's what you want to get to, but the Bears have nobody on their lines that you can say that's a dude. He's there. We don't need to worry about that. There's nobody.
That's the problem here. You guys have questions. We're going to try to answer them as we go through it. We think this Leatherwood question, I think the Leatherwood is going to be gone. Like he won't even be here next year because
I think
if there was anything, he would be out there.
Yeah, and this is what Leatherwood, and as an Alabama fan, you guys have heard me talk about it. Physically, he's as gifted a prospect as you can have. He's got the length, he's got the arm length. He looks like he's built to be an offensive lineman. He's always been the guy you're like, that motherfucker is so talented. We just need to see. Can we just unlock it? Alabama couldn't do it, but when you have, 4 other All-Americans surrounding you, you tend to look a little bit better. But exactly, if he was the guy, he's been here all year. The guy's been active and not seen the field. And then they put him out there and they had to give him, help almost on every play. So it's going to be interesting.
Most important player on the team. We're going to protect him with a 5th rounder from Utah A&M.
But listen, this is the thing. And this is, again, and I'm trying not to get pissed off at fans, but this is what is the, so Olin wanted Teron Armstead here. And he's got a partially torn pec, and he's nicked up, and he's like, well, if you miss his time, then you have him for 10 games, and that's fine. Well, that's no way to build a team. Teron Armstead is a fantastic player, hasn't stayed healthy ever. I don't think he's had maybe no more than one season where he's played 16 games in his entire career. But that's the thing.
Yep.
Ryan Poles came into a situation with a limited amount of cap and limited draft picks at the time. He had no first-round draft pick, but everybody's like, fuck, man, just go fucking fix the offensive line, you fucking idiot. You didn't fix the fucking defensive line. Oh, Justin's got no wide receivers? It's stupid. Mate, at what point do you say, holy shit, maybe we should pump the brakes and give it a little bit of time? Now we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, where their blueprint, right, wrong, or indifferent, is going to be coming into play. You could only do so much last year. You're new to the position. Your scouts aren't even involved or aren't even your guys. They're the previous regime's guys. They're scouting and grading players based off what they know. So that's from Ryan Pace. This is his first offseason with his scouting system in place, his grading system in place. He's got a full bank account. He's got an arsenal of draft picks that could multiply significantly before the draft. Not everything was going to get fixed last year at all. And not all of it's going to get fixed this year. I know it sucks, but we have the most important piece, in my opinion, in place. And that makes everything else around it a lot easier to fill.
I think at best, like if you're looking, I know I'm looking ahead, but if you're looking at what you want the Bears to look like or what the Bears could look like next year, I'm looking at even on the record, close to even on the record, 8-9, 9-8, maybe fighting for that 7 spot, maybe missing it. But that's kind of where I see the progression of this team being, even with a great offseason.
Thank you, Dakota and Ivan.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, no,
it's point by Ivan.
I think that I think they're going to come out early in free agency, and I think you're going to see fans are going to fucking completely melt down, and they're going to have, they're going to be trying to burn buildings and all that shit when they come out the first day of free agency, and it's defense, 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 defense. It could potentially be their first 3 to 4 picks, or their 3 to 4 signings on the first day of the league year. It really could be, because there is a pathway for them. Listen, you want to try to set up yourself with free agency and with your offseason moves where, let's just say you're at 2 overall and you don't get the deal that comes to you for a quarterback or whatever. Let's just say you have to sit. You want to be able to say, I can take the highest rated guy on my board. And I happen to believe that they'll have Anderson graded higher on their board than they will Carter, because I think that they're going to be heavily invested in defensive tackle in free agency. But that's kind of the way that you want to set it up. And there is a pathway for them to revamp this defensive line moving into 2023 completely before you even get to the draft.
Anybody, I know EJ, my boy, what's up, EJ? I want to shout you out and say I'm so sorry for your loss of your mom. You've been a big supporter of TTNL, you and your family. Talking about the turnaround the Jags made this year. And then Mo Bierman says it's impossible. And I say, Mo, pay the fuck close attention to the NFL, because it is not impossible. It's actually very possible, because you have to make these moves and find those dogs and get them in here. And a new year, listen, you play, I always say, playing football, every game is a different one. And my other fan was in there. How many 1-point game? How many close games did this Bears team?
7 or 8. 7. Yeah, 7 of them. I knew it was 7 or 8 they've been in. But the NFL
Monte Pettis caught 3 out of the 5, 6 fourth down. That moves the change.
An extra point.
An extra point in Detroit changes the makeup of the playoff. And look at, I hate to bring it up, but the Packers were dead in the water, right, Mo? They were dead. They're out. Nope. They're back in the playoff, because that's football. So the big thing harboring the Bears, obviously, everything we talked about. But right now, the concerns I have is with Getsy, with the offensive line. I'm not worried about Justin Fields. I am not. And, and they have to get this defense right. And I think there's validity to it. I'm not a big believer in I'm Tony Dungy, for the record. no spoiler alert here for there'll be a lot of debates this offseason on Draft Mob. So I told Cars better be able to handle some debate because I'm a blue chipper, 100 out of 100. I don't give a fuck about 7 picks and how many picks you got in the draft when you're there. Get that blue chipper. I believe there's several. There's
Let me ask you
3
this,
guys
Phil.
that I think are blue chippers right up
Phil,
there.
if you were
4
sitting
guys.
at number 1 and you have the potential to get a 2023 first rounder, a 2024 first rounder, 2023 second and third rounder, and a 2024 second rounder, and potentially a player involved in that, you wouldn't be interested
Where am
in
I
that?
going to?
Well, you could go for, let's say you're at number 1 in Indy at number 4 or wherever they end up.
Only it would matter how far am I going? Because if it's quarterback, and I know I'm getting my guy, then yeah, I would take a trade fully knowing that I'm not risking. I have 3 guys that I really think are blue chippers, right? Then I'm not risking. But if I'm at number 1 and you're asking me to trade to 21,
no,
and
nobody,
you're giving me then I'm
if they
saying
trade,
no.
There's a pathway that the Bears could trade down at least twice for teams that want quarterbacks and stay. I mean, I've worked out a scenario where they could potentially move down 3 times and stay in the top 10. And I think that's unlikely.
This is why you got to become a patron.
You're talking
neverlies.com.
Yeah, I'm not going to give away too much, but I know we had a chat in some of our Facebook pages for TTNL today. Everybody keeps on talking about just CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. And when draft day comes here, it's going to be Bryce Young. It's going to be CJ Stroud. It's going to be Will Levis. And the guy nobody's talking about, and I don't agree with it, and I wouldn't touch it, but he's going to be there, is Richardson from Florida, is going to be involved in this. In the top 10 as a pick for quarterback.
Really? I don't
day.
see that happening. I'm willing to bet that he doesn't get picked in the top 10.
Telling you.
That would be a huge mistake.
It's already started, Phil. It's already started.
I know people probably starting it. PFF.
No, but I'm just saying teams get crazy for quarterbacks. I mean,
they're not talking about Stetson Bennett in there.
No, they're talking about him as a 5th or a 6th round draft pick.
That's funny to me.
He's 25 years old, dude.
I know. I know what he is.
Yeah, that's why. And it's going to be a factor.
I know. Of course, it's going to be a factor.
But
you took a 25-year-old receiver.
Yeah, it's a factor with our 25-year-old.
Third round, we'll take him.
But
I'm a big believer in Stetson Bennett. I don't see 5th round. That's a joke to me. In the offseason, we'll be talking about him in the 1st round.
Oof. I'll take that bet.
Okay. Be fun.
I would. Yeah. No, I would, but we've seen it time and time. Phil, we had it on Draft Mob last year, when we had Austin Carter-Samuels in here. We were talking about, with the Justin Fields draft, and he was all over Zach Wilson. He's like, he's just got things that you can't teach. And when I see him, the breakdowns and the people talking about Levis already, it's the same they're putting out the off-platform throws and holy shit. And say what you want. I like Bryce Young. I don't think he's ever going to live up to his draft status where he's going to be going, because he's going to come in sub 5'11", 180 pounds. And I think that's 100% going to be a factor in the NFL because he's not wildly athletic. His accuracy and his anticipation are fantastic.
I totally disagree.
No, that's
I have
fine.
a higher grade on him than Justin Fields.
So if you were number 1, would you trade Justin for Bryce Young right now?
No, I wouldn't, because I think you've already established that would be a setback to you and your organization.
Well, yeah,
it would take a lot. It would take a different coach. If I had Harbaugh or Sean Payton, then yeah, I mean, there's several layers to this conversation. If they both were in the draft right now, I take Bryce Young over Justin.
I think Justin Fields would be a landslide number 1 pick.
I
overall
totally would disagree. It would be Bryce Young.
Yeah, I
there's never been a cooler customer. I've scouted this. This dude makes plays that you just anticipate the throw, and he's just dime accurate.
Is he going to be cool under pressure if he's in Chicago with this offensive line?
Not this one, no.
No, that's what I'm
saying. He couldn't
saying.
have functioned. Maybe I don't know.
He couldn't have functioned.
Would the offense be different?
That's my point. Would he?
The offense might be different.
That's the point, and you have to take into consideration where he's going, and he doesn't have the escapability. He's not athletically.
He does not have escape. He's a better athlete than you're saying. He's not Justin Fields.
No, but that's what I'm saying. When you're sub 5'11", 180 pounds, you better have the ability to make.
He's 6 foot.
Bull fucking shit, he is.
I can't wait to see his measurements.
Phil, I'll give you pictures right now of him with Kyler Murray. I'll put it up on the screen. Kyler Murray is taller than Bryce Young is.
Justin Fields over CJ Stroud for me. 100%.
Oh, all day.
All day.
I'm not interested in. I am ecstatic that the Bears have their quarterback and they're not in the quarterback market in this draft. Ecstatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think either of those 2 quarterbacks would struggle right now on the Bears, or even next year on the Bears. Justin's sacked the most in the league right now. Is that where we're at?
55?
Yeah, about the most sacked in the league. Even with his athleticism and getting close to that rushing record, I don't see it. I don't see them making a difference.
Well, they would have to do different than what they do offensively. Getsy. I mean, I know how I would run the offense, but again, this is football. Bryce Young is Tua. Okay, save that for you.
He's better than Tua.
I can't wait for Bryce Young.
And I'm not high on Tua.
Drew Brees is a great comp for what you're more athletic. Drew Brees. This guy, I'm telling you, just anyway, we'll see.
I think more athletic Drew Brees is pushing it in college.
That's why we're gonna have all this.
Drew Brees made some plays, yeah.
Drew Brees did run some at Purdue.
Yeah, he did.
Athletic, but I think Bryce is a better athlete. Is Bryce gonna compete in the combine? Do you think he's going to do anything?
Who, Bryce?
Yeah.
He's a competitor.
Said a lot about him playing.
He played in the bowl game. Yeah. But I mean,
how many other quarterbacks would play in that bowl game? I know Justin would.
Yeah.
I know Justin would.
How tall is Kyler Murray?
Like 5'9".
Yeah, he's got to be close to my height, for God's sake. I'm like, this dude is small. He's got some thick quads, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, he's twice the size of Bryce Young.
Well, he's body-wise.
5'10".
Murray's 5'10".
Yeah, he ain't no 5'10". I'll tell you that.
You think the Bryce Young's going to come in? You think Bryce Young's going to come in at 6 foot?
I think he's going to be at 6 foot. Yes, 6.
He better be getting some thick fucking shoes. I'll tell you that. You got to get those.
Better wear those.
He's got to get those Aerototions that push him up to 5'7".
I'm gonna get a pair of those to push me up to 5'9", bro. 5'10". That would be awesome. Anyway, save it for the off season as we get ready. It'll be a lot of fun. But everyone should know how much I love Will Anderson. And he should.
Shane is hard on his Alabama players because most of the time y'all.
I haven't been wrong very much on him though either.
I would draft him.
Yeah, I haven't.
I was Mac Jones too.
Yeah,
so.
I like Mac Jones, and I was never high on who's the kid that got drafted by Miami and now he's in Pittsburgh. Everybody was talking. Oh, Minka Fitzpatrick was talking about him as a shutdown corner. Phil, you can go back and
I loved him, and you're like, ah.
No. I wanted him. I'm like, he's not a fucking corner. He's a safety. You can go back and look it up. You could see it.
We
all day.
agreed on that.
Yeah, and
like that's a foot. That kid reminded me of Troy Polamalu.
Yeah,
and then the Steelers get that.
But oh, here it is.
We got a picture of Bryce.
Yeah, and it's not a great picture, but it's him. It's they're filming a Heisman commercial, and
I love the commercial with him. Dang.
That's Kyler Murray, ladies and gentlemen, standing next to
Kyler
Bryce
Murray's
Young.
wearing cleats there. Come on.
His bling might be driving him down into the ground a little bit more too. You never. That's pretty heavy shit. But
well, we'll see.
But
maybe my bet isn't gonna win there. 6 foot.
Yeah, but Phil,
I don't look 6 foot there.
No, he is not. I'm not going to be shocked if he comes in. Listen, we know what goes on at the combine, and we know that he's going to have about 5 gallons of water in his system when he weighs in the way that goes. But I mean, he's 180 pounds is even pushing it. And this, I'll let you in behind the curtain a little bit. Daniel Jeremiah is as locked in as anybody at the college level and in the NFL level. He's worked for the Baltimore Ravens front office. He's worked for the Philadelphia Eagles front office. And quite honestly, he's going to be a guy that he's probably going to end up being a GM at some point when he wants to make that move. He's going to be that type of guy. He has come out and said, not a lot of it out front publicly, people that he has known, people that he knows within Alabama, people that he knows within the collegiate ranks have said, please don't base anything what you see of Bryce. It looks great on tape. Just wait until you see him in person. Because when I tell you that he is small, you are going to be absolutely blown away. In fact, how small and how slight he is. It's a lot easier to be cool under pressure when you have 5 All-Americans standing in front of you and the talent that Alabama has. I'm just saying, dude, it's gonna be a big.
Have 5 All-Americans, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, he is
some talent.
tiny. He is tiny.
He doesn't look tiny. That's the crazy thing. Like Murray looks tiny on the field. Even when he was at Alabama and Oklahoma.
The difference is, Phil, he's tiny, but he's wildly athletic. And Bryce Young is athletic enough, but there's a difference there, man. I'm telling you, and hey, I've been wrong on quarterbacks plenty, but I'm just saying it would give me, it's why I am so happy that the Bears aren't in the quarterback game with this.
I know I'm short, right?
Exactly, Bryce. But yeah.
Exactly.
But the Alabama website do have him listed at 6 feet, 194 pounds.
Oh, well, yeah, I know.
There we go.
Let's go to the Hofstra website in 1992.
5'10".
Yeah.
183 or 1.
White Lightning from Meriden, Connecticut.
Wallingford, like Angela.
Or Wallingford, right.
No. Very
rhymes with lotion.
Then let me do what I had to do.
If you missed the Christmas episode,
yeah,
you got to go back and see. Angelo came in.
Angelo was, and he did drop some big time knowledge. Angelo, do you remember Greg Braggs?
No.
Oh, that's a new great.
That's compliments of Mr. Sleepyhead Alan Bratcher.
Look at you, Bratcher.
Angelo, do you remember Greg Braggs?
No.
I'm not sure how I feel about reserved Angelo. You know what I mean? He was
Cherie sure about how she feels about him. Oh God. I love Cherie's mom.
How was your holidays, Cherie?
Yes, Cherie.
I had fun. I don't want to hear that, but I actually enjoyed solo Christmas. But
Cherie was in a Civil War reenactment.
I was not.
Shooting.
Please don't tell people that.
Drinking these red
got a
cups.
fucking musket and everything.
Like Colonial
Packing a fucking
Williamsburg.
musket down and everything. Cherie.
Oh my god.
There you go.
I like it.
Cherie had a solo, Chris. Phil and Shane, you guys gotta have shows every fucking day, man. Oh my god. I got sick last week. I apologize that we didn't have Keeping It 100. And it was the holiday season. So Shane and I, with me
Jesus.
laying in
Don't
bed,
cancel the
5
show.
days.
People on Twitter
4
melt
days.
down. And hope you
Oh
guys
my God.
aren't. I hope you guys aren't evaporating, going away. I'm like, God damn.
Like, what?
Anybody who asked me, I was like, it's the holidays. They can't get time off to spend with their family.
It's not like we have
God.
full-time jobs and crazy.
When Shane ever shared that with me, because if you look, it's the first time we've skipped Keeping It 100 all year. We never.
Oh, I don't
missed
think it's
1 week.
happened in our time with
I think
TTNL.
we took 1 week off in the summer because you were going on vacation.
Oh, I'm sure somebody in the YouTube comments. Yeah, it was July of 2021. My fucking wife left me.
Shane sends me this
My dog bit me.
screenshot. I'm like, what? Somebody's complaining that we took a week off? Like, oh my God.
Jeepers creepers.
He was praising us.
It was
But then-
insinuating that we were like,
Yeah, I'm like, well, I think it's wildly, it's a
I
little crazy
totally
to tweet out that, are you guys like going away? And he's like, you got people not showing up to the shows, and then you cancel a show, and
That starts wild accusations, like in wild.
then you
rumors.
get the fucking crazies on social media. My God. You know what I hated? I'll be honest. Like, I'll keep it to myself. Thought better of it.
He's a very nice dick that any woman would love.
Exactly.
Where are you gonna get the analysis like we give, Phil? Like, I broke down some pictures from Hallis Hall today. Like, this is my
God.
sickness. But it's true. I'm like, what the fuck?
What is this guy doing? How the fuck did you even see that? Is beyond me.
My eyes went right to it. Drove me fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Just drawn right to it instantly.
There's like a hugging
Shane is
picture.
a background person, so if you send him any pictures,
Yeah.
he
Eberflus is hugging Hub in the media, scrum before he starts off his presser, and they tweeted out a picture of it. So I'm looking, I'm like, what the fuck? And if you look down in the lower left-hand corner, their fucking outlet cover, the hole for the outlet is cut way too big for the cover. So the hole is bigger than the fucking cover is. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So yeah, that's my sickness. I see little shit like that and I'm drawn to it. And I always drive Phil crazy with it. He's like, what are you doing? But yeah, right in the middle of Hallis Hall, there's a big old fucking outlet that's cut way too big, but they threw the cover on it anyway.
I looking at him like, what the? How did you even?
I
see
love
that?
all.
I know, Cherie. I know.
That Phil put that hole there when they played soccer during his visit there instead of football.
Yeah, I'm like, we're watching soccer at Hallis Hall. How does that even comprehend in a possible, like, your dream moment being in Hallis Hall? Only thing that comes on TV is soccer.
Can you give us a voice reenactment of the guy that you were with?
Oh my God.
I feel.
I wish we had. I've been trying to get him on the show. Don Fields. I love this dude. I hope it doesn't offend Don that I imitate him. His wife says it doesn't, but Don, she's like a frog on a cricket, Phil.
It's a hell of a pickup line.
Oh my God. He wasn't lying though. freaking Marge, she still upset that I talked about it on the tell-all episode of the behind the scenes of the Chicago Bears. Marge was very, very afraid of what we could and couldn't do. And Don wasn't having it. And it was
We
great.
gotta get Marge on the show.
Tell her side of the story.
You know what? George won't let me. George won't let me. George is. I want to get George McCaskey on this show, and I think
it would be the best thing for him.
It would be such the best.
It would
thing. Like this is the only place he should go because he could be George,
the fan,
and
you don't want him to have a one-on-one with Larry Mayer.
No,
George. Do you like football? Yeah. What the fuck? I asked Alex about. Do these guys really not understand when they put the fucking jacket on the quarterback? It's to fucking keep them warm. Is that really a thing?
I think he was just protecting his boy.
It's like, holy shit. That was legitimately a question from Pat Finley during a press conference.
I know
I'm
what
like,
you're
oh
saying.
My God.
But I also I don't get the question at the time, but basically what they're implying is because it's so cold, that little jacket don't do anything. So that's why he's like,
gotta do something. It's better to be in it than not in it, right?
When you hitting wind, a coat ain't nothing.
My dad has one of those astronaut jacket things. Have you ever seen them?
Gotta get him one of the ones that plug in. You can fucking charge, and he press.
They
the
got
button.
bubbles.
Eel's
You know
got
what
one
I'm
of those.
talking
You
about?
press the button, and the shit heats up.
Oh, that's Steph. Steph was complaining about the fucking weather in Chicago when we went. I go, this is not that cold.
It was cold.
Cherie's saying it's cold.
When I first
Don't
met,
let Phil fool you. It was freezing.
when I
really
first
that
met
cold,
Eela,
Ivan?
I was in heaven because she was like right in sync with me. If it was hot, it was hot. If it was cold, it was cold. Then she got pregnant and it fucked up all of her plumbing, and now everything's exactly opposite. In fucking summertime, she's freezing. Wintertime is it's so fucking hot in here. Like I got home the other day, I walked in the house, and I'm like,
oh my God,
it's fucking freezing in here. She's like, what?
She likes it cold?
Bro, it's fucking so at this point it was December. I walk in the house and I was outside all fucking day, freezing. I walk into the house and the shit set at 62. And I have one.
Oh my God.
Like I have the shit on my phone. So it's so funny. Like I wish I'd go upstairs right now. I'd have a Nest thermostats throughout the house. So on my app, I'll do it.
Alexa.
Yeah, no, I could do it on that too.
Turn up the heat.
I'll turn it up. Like I was home today. I didn't work today. So I'll turn the shit up to 70. I'll even get crazy and go to 72.
I agree, Eric.
And I'll stand right by the fucking thermostat, and within 2 minutes, that fucking thermostat will turn on, and she's got her app, and it goes right back down. So we fucking that's the war
That's
we fight in
usually
this
the
house.
other way around.
Yeah, I know, bro. I told you,
crazy.
Her getting pregnant fucked the plumbing up big time.
Mary's always hot too.
That's
I
my
don't know.
buddy.
That's your girl?
We were
Hey,
in the military
Mary.
together.
Mary's a first time listener.
Yes, she is.
Does she want to come on, Cherie? Can we send her the link?
Absolutely not. No.
I think she's got dirt on her girl.
She's gonna share something.
She's one that
Trip up.
I couldn't stop her from saying anything.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Mary's
Come on,
future
Mary.
show, Mary. In the
We got your intro right here,
You're on
Mary.
the air, baby.
I didn't think it was that cold. My father, though, is great. My dad is, I don't know if your dads are like this, but my dad's like, I set the temperature for 65 and that's it.
That's Kirk's trying to get fucking blocked in the chat room. No.
Oh, yeah, get her pregnant. Maybe
She wants to have
flip
another
the other
baby.
one.
I'll send her your way, Kurt. Have fun.
He wasn't
coming on the plane
he did
after
the right
Dallas.
thing,
She's asleep. I'm safe.
I had a dream that Steph was pregnant. I said it to Steph. I had a dream you were pregnant. Steph even looked at me like, I go, I know, right? I don't want to be fucking Shane right now.
I don't want you fucking me ever.
I got it up.
So, bro, this is upstairs.
No way.
That would never fly in this house. We're at
But look
69, bro.
You guys want to have some fun? Watch this. So
Happy New Year, Deborah.
She's got
Is that another friend?
63. So look what we're gonna do here. Let's run this bitch up to
There's
72.
your mom.
Yeah.
Look at.
Oh
look
my
at
God.
Let's put it up to
No,
72.
that's
It should
too high.
Should turn.
Just go to
different color.
69.
Oh,
See
that
it?
means it just turned on.
It even
So-
gives a
Is she
throttling.
sweet? You think she'll wake up and turn it down?
Oh fuck! No, she'll wake up and
Put
grab
it in
her
the
fucking phone.
background. Can you hang it so it stays and we'll see?
No, I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you.
It
I'll
would
just
be funny. Just
Yeah.
hold it behind you. Hang it on a piece of string. Then it goes down. 68. Oh,
Yeah,
she
72 is probably gonna get me killed for sure.
Yeah, that's way
Back
too
that shit up to 70 so I don't get
murdered in your sleep.
Yeah.
Share with us your room temperature in the chat. There you go. There you go. Oh my
shit.
God. We're not doing it. Bear up, bear down, none of that stuff.
There ain't no fucking bears. They're up.
It all
None
sucked.
of that. We had a fun night tonight. I got to tell you guys, I went to see the Avatar.
My son once saw it.
I fucking thought it was great.
He did too.
Sheree
I haven't
didn't
seen
like it.
I didn't
You
like the
want-
first one, so I have no desire to see the second one.
Oh, she didn't like the first one. Jeez.
Sheree's never seen a rock.
Coming on the plane after.
I call bullshit on out Cherie's movie
Sheree
choices.
was coming on the plane. That's what was going
That's
on.
what Mary just texted me the same thing. What were you doing, Cherie? I thought she was packing a. That obviously wasn't a musket. She was fucking.
I thought Avatar was tremendous.
Riley
Tremendous.
loved it.
3D,
Riley loved it, yeah.
obviously. You don't go to the regular. You got to go to the 3D.
Yeah, see, that's the point, though. Everybody's putting their temperatures in there. In the summertime, we'll have like the central air on, and I'll set it to fucking 68 or whatever. She'd be like, "It's fucking freezing in here.
Oh my!
What are you doing?" And I'm like, "All right, yeah, because that makes sense." But can't order.
Back to Avatar. The first one to me was outstanding. Obviously, it won like every award. Cherie thought it sucked. Cherie ain't no movie critic.
Well,
What's your favorite movie? Let me.
Don't mean the movie was good. We've seen some crappy movies win, so don't act like the awards are the.
What is it? Your favorite movie? What's your favorite scary movie?
Favorite?
What's your
movie?
favorite movie?
Oh, that's
Yes.
hard.
What was one of your favorites? What's a great movie for you?
Oh God, a great movie.
Yes. Something you'd say, you know what? You got to see this movie.
Cherie said she liked Porky's, but I don't know if that's.
I never even saw it.
I mean,
Mrs. Ballbreaker.
I'll say this: my favorite comedy is Harlem Nights.
Oh,
favorite comedy.
Shot off my picky toe.
To me, that's the best comedy.
That is funny as hell.
Did you like Forrest Gump?
Yeah, but I'm a big Tom Hanks fan. I'm more about the actors more so than the movie. If I like the actor, I can get into the movie. The one movie that I couldn't get into, even though it was Jason Momoa, was Aquaman. But most of the time, I'll go see a movie just based on who's in it. And Tom Hanks, I'm a big fan. Denzel.
How did you feel about Castaway with Tom Hanks?
That one was hard. I didn't like the one man show, basically.
Yeah.
That's probably one of his worst, but everything else I've seen Tom Hanks in, I love. So
Alan Bratcher wrote in, wanted to know if you saw The Matrix.
I love seeing it. Keanu Reeves is another actor that I like. So yes, I did.
Have you seen the woman who wrote The Matrix talking about? She wrote The Matrix and The Terminator, and she tells you that Matrix is a prequel to Terminator. and she breaks it down and like blows your mind and how this. I gotta find that and share that with you. The woman who wrote those talks about how The Matrix is a prequel to The Terminator and how it
on top of your fucking class.
Great show. I'm telling you, look it up.
They have all of the avatars are what scheduled through 2028, I think.
Yeah, Greg was telling me about that. I didn't know that they have, so I could see where the next one's going, but it is like a sci-fi version of the, the U.S. taking the land from the indigenous people. It's crazy. I don't know. I got emotional and I loved it. My son, it was funny because you're wearing the 3D and my son turns to me. Steph's sitting down on the end and we have the two boys between us. And Tate turns to me. He's like, Daddy, there's a fly in here. There's fly. I go, that's the 3D movie.
Yeah, it's working.
It's totally working.
Have you been in the 4D theaters yet when they're spraying the shit in your face?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh,
Is
yeah.
that cool?
Yeah.
Trip. Yeah, they have it.
What's the 4D movie like that they would put?
What was the one that we saw? But it's the fucking seat moves and everything, and like
oh shit,
they're they're going.
That was
rumble, and they hit a fucking wave, and fucking water sprays across your fucking face.
Oh shit,
yeah, that's crazy. Or they're outside and it's winter, you feel like cold air.
That's dope.
Yeah,
I went to Epcot back in the 80s or 90s, early 90s. I forget when I went. 80s, and Michael Jackson's 3D. They blew smoke and did that stuff
blue.
back
I thought
then.
You were going a totally different, but go ahead.
No, it was, so cool. It was a 4D experience.
You want to see my musket? Oh,
oh my god! Andy, are you okay? Oh my god!
Yeah, Avatar. Bad. They do Avatar in 4D cinemas. Rodrigo saying
they do.
Yeah, so I'll ask by something. I know Riley went and saw it at one of his buddies in his class at a birthday party, and they took a bunch of them there. And
I wish I saw it in. I wish I saw it in IMAX. I didn't. I just saw.
I don't even think we have theaters here that aren't. I think they're just all IMAX.
You have IMAX?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All of them. The fucking Everglades. Jesus.
Everglades. Dude, I live outside of Syracuse.
You're like right by Canada on the border there.
Yeah.
Poutine is like a fucking regular on every menu.
What region is that?
Yeah, the Everglades, Phil.
I have no idea. Where is the Everglades?
Definitely not next to Canada. Yeah, but ours are all IMAX.
Really?
And I have a drive-in that's like, I don't know, like a 2-minute drive from my house.
You have a drive-in too?
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're developed, not in that shithole you live in.
What's going on down here?
Yeah.
The taxes are so high. Paying all these fucking taxes for what?
Oh, we got that. I'll tell you that we got fucking tax.
We can't even get IMAX cinemas. We have them. We have a bunch. They're just
how much is gas where you guys are? Because they just
New York 279 right now.
Oh my god, it's 369 here because it just jumped up like 20 cents.
Really?
Yeah, they put a freeze on the New York gas tax from June 2022 to December 31st. So it's like if you were trying to get gas on New Year's Eve, there was fucking lines. Yeah, it's $3.69 a gallon here.
The Matrix.
No, the Matrix. The directors.
Those are the directors.
Yeah.
Those aren't the writers of the book. Go look her up. She's a black woman, and she wrote both the Terminator and the Matrix, and it is so deep. $4.89 in Cali. Jesus.
It was $2.95 here, and then it just jumped back up to like $3.09.
Yeah, $3.69 today.
Yeah, it's about the same, like Robert said, over here.
Well, I got gas 2 days ago. It was $2.79. So hopefully it didn't jump up to 20 cents. It's like fucking ridiculous. Like,
I
why
like
is
Jose's
it jumping up?
idea.
No,
What?
I don't.
Cherie and Mary on and with Thomas
Yeah.
Jones.
Thomas Jones, Mary,
Yeah.
Sharia, and Thomas Jones. Listen,
Cherie, you don't want your own after dark show with
Absolutely.
Mary?
No, definitely not.
I don't know. We gotta get this. We gotta get this lady on.
Jeepers creepers.
Cherie's paranoid about this. This lady must have some secrets.
I love all. I
Well-
know which friends will tell and which ones won't. I'll met one that won't.
she's an open book, this Mary. There's something about Mary. That was a great movie, and it's also going to be a great show.
Moist.
No, we're very economical, my family.
Mary,
Says
go.
you love the dark. Or
Mary,
After Dark.
go to @Wazram on Twitter
No,
and
you
start
don't, Mary.
following me.
You will get blocked. You're about to block Mary.
At
Model.
At WAS,
right there.
right there on the screen. Follow
Right
me
on the
Twitter.
screen.
Give me some
Mod
dirt,
on.
girl.
Model.
Yeah, we got to keep Cherie on her tippy toes.
There's not going to be a bold prediction for the Nathan Peterman Tank Bowl. The Tank Bowl show. No.
Real quick.
None real quick.
How disappointed will you be? Be honest. If the Bears win Sunday, I'll be disappointed. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, it's such a bind because I'm a big believer in what Alex was talking about. Like, you play to win every game and you got to have that winning culture. I also believe that those winning things, unlike a lot of people, I agree with Coach Dungy, that there is a carryover for a young quarterback. 9 losses in a row. 9 losses in a row. Going for 10. But to your point, at this point, just take the loss.
Well, the thing about it, I mean, you get even the fact that the number 1 pick is still in play. I mean, that's the number. I mean, number 2, I'm going to be happy with. If they get the number 1, then you're controlling everything at 1. You're controlling it all.
Going for the 1. Look, we're changing this around. He wants the 1. Don't
You
worry.
want Bryce Young? You come talk to me. You want CJ Stroud? You got to come talk to me. And it's
a big position to be in.
Yeah.
But I totally could see the Bears.
Oh, that's Phil. It's they won 3 out of 4 in 1998. The 1998 or the 1997 season. And so going into the 1998 draft, they won 3 out of 4 to push them from number 1 to number 4 or number 5, wherever they took Curtis Enos. And Peyton Manning went number 1 overall that year. Charles Woodson went at number. So Enos was 5. It went Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf. But sadly, if the Bears got number 1 pick, they probably would have drafted Leaf. Let's be honest. But it was Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf, I think Andre Wadsworth.
Andre Wadsworth.
Charles Woodson. But at the time, Andre
From
Wadsworth
Florida
was
State.
a fantastic prospect. But that was the Randy Moss draft, and he was the 2nd wide receiver drafted. Kevin Dyson, remember? Tennessee.
Dyson went to Tennessee.
Yeah, they took him. I was sick. I was all in on Randy Moss that year. All in. I was probably one of my maddest draft moments in my history of watching the draft was when they didn't take Moss. Can you imagine the Steve Stenstrom to Randy Moss connection that we missed out on? I mean, holy fuck. Oh shit.
Faneca was in that draft too. I mean, a Hall of Famer. I'm sure he was picked where he was. But
Faneca.
Yeah, and I mean, Curtis Enos was actually starting to come on and play well until he he tore up his knee, and then he lost all that weight and changed his number to 44, and it was,
How
the rest
about
is
this?
history.
for a prediction. Will the Packers make the playoffs? Lions, Packers.
Yeah, I think so.
They're playing good at the right time.
Yeah.
Ivans, can the Lions beat the Packers and knock them out?
Yeah,
You don't believe in it. You don't.
No, listen. The Detroit is improved, but for the life of me, it seems like they're going to hitch their wagons to Jared Goff, and I think that's a colossal mistake moving forward. I mean, you can win some games in the regular season. I'm not a big believer in Jared Goff. I mean, at some point they're going to have to get somebody in here, but I'm just not. I look at them like I look at the Vikings. You know, Detroit has improved, and I am not a big believer in the Minnesota Vikings ever. I'm not. Their point differential is -19, and they've lost 4 games, and they're -19. They've given up 19 more points than they've scored, and they have 12 wins. That means you're a fraud.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it.
That's very true. Yes, Bob. The story is Walter Payton had a pre-morning meeting scheduled, and they were doing their due diligence on the kid.
He was going to be a Bear.
He was going to be drafted by the Bears, and Randy Moss didn't show up.
2 hours.
Never showed up.
2 hours Walter waited.
And thus the Bears passed on Randy Moss.
Yeah. The bad part about it was in the hotel where Randy was staying. He was upstairs sleeping, and
he couldn't even get up for downstairs.
Imagine.
Oh, no. Now we're moving on to the Bears president. Maybe there'll be breaking news there. If you're a patron or not one, you want to go to the tapeneverlies.com. Pop-up shows galore. We'll be breaking down the pressers, Shane and myself, maybe Cars, others from the network jumping on to break down those live pressers, to be determined when they're going to be. And then our draft coverage will start.
What's going to be the word of the day in those pressers? Like, we had collaboration, we had synergy back when Phil Emery was here.
Process.
It's going to be Arrivederci. It'll be Arrivederci for Ted. Goodbye. Ciao. Ciao, Arrivederci. Claudio, we miss you, Claudio. Where
I think
are
it's
you?
going to be something like due diligence. There's a lot of work to do. So yeah, we're gonna do our due diligence.
Oh, we're gonna guess what it's gonna be.
Thorough.
All right, let's go around. Due diligence, says Shane.
Oh, I got a new follower on Twitter, Sheree. Let me check.
Oh, gosh.
Mary.
I don't even think we follow each other on Twitter.
Oh, Sheree, I just got a picture of you.
You're out the game. Late nights.
Mary
and Sheree.
Christ.
If only your name was Sherry, because Sherry and Mary would be.
Oh, we got called that a lot. Shane, you better not upload whatever she just sent you.
Oh my God.
Working on
She's
it.
That ain't a fucking musket in there, I'll tell you that.
Oh, is there a word
You're
for
safe. Look at Mary's outing me live on air.
Sheree was
What about
getting
Instagram, Mary? I'm on Instagram too. At
You
Wasran.
have Instagram.
Ivan, is there a word for you? Bob says, trust the process. That's going to be that.
Thorough.
Thorough. Sheree, is there anything you could think of?
Philosophy.
Philosophy. I have no guess. Seriously.
Culture could be a good one.
No, that's a good one. I'll go with yours. Culture.
It could be 2 more questions. You might hear that. We're good at that one.
Two more questions, please. 2 more.
Buy-in might be a good phrase there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, we'll see what they come up with. We'll cover it live. Obviously, we'll be live right after Bears versus Vikings, the Peterman Tag Bowl. Patience.
God,
Nice.
that halftime show is going to be fun. God damn, can you imagine if they're up by 20 at halftime? I'm going to be so fucking disappointed.
It's gonna be the Shane rant at halftime.
Yeah.
They're gonna let you rant. Shane's gonna be like this, just with his hand.
Peterman takes us from fucking potentially number 1 to number 4 in the draft.
Claypool has like $183 tutties.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what the fuck?
The bad part about it is you're going to have the contingency of fucking meat-headed, dumb fuck Bears fans. Bring back Peterman. Trade Justin.
Make him a wide receiver.
Yeah. See what happens when you stay in the pocket?
No, that's a quarterback.
Oh, I've already heard that. Oh, the Bears fan. I've seen it written down already. Bears finally got a real quarterback. Like, get the fuck out of here.
This is good. That's worth watching. So we'll be live, Bears Hour live, right after the Bears Vikings at home. We always travel to Minnesota at that last game. Now
the
it's
poor beat
actually
reporters
home game.
always complain. Do we have to go up there at the end of the year? It's so cold. Like they play inside. Jesus.
They play inside.
Right.
You're
Try
getting
living
paid
in my
to
house.
cover the
Fucking
Bears.
freezing, you assholes. Kidding.
You don't even pay for tickets. George fits the bill on your snacks in the press room, for God's sake. What's the weather going to be like, Ivan, this Sunday? Are you going to be wearing your bunny uniform?
No, not this week. Not this week. Not this week. Maybe next
Is
next
it going to
year.
be cold?
Yeah, Sunday's going to be 25 for the low, 35 for the high.
Okay. Not as cold as you endured.
No, not that cold.
There you go. Listen, we'll cover it all tomorrow. I'll be releasing the tape breakdown.
That's a breakdown of that right there. Pretty much.
Bears, Lions, and then we'll be one step closer to the off-season coverage. Again, seriously, if you're a big Bears fan, you're going to want to sign up, push to 1,000, join the family, www.thetapeneverlies.com. Right there, you'll be linked to Patreon. You'll go right in. There's going to be pop-up shows, X's with the O's, Kramer's QB School. Eric's going to come on and break down some of the potential draft choices. Zorich, bunch of people. Round to 63.
You got it.
There
I haven't
you
even
go.
checked my messages. My phone was going off. I'm sure
I think it's
Probably
David
cool.
Montgomery. Did somebody get moved up?
No, they have
the kid.
The
What
kid
was his
from
name?
Detroit that played for the Lions.
He's from Connecticut. He's from Connecticut.
Yeah, Boyle. Tim
Oh, that's right. Tim
Boyle.
Boyle, yeah.
Tim Boyle. Right here. Lives in my sister's
Yeah,
town.
at Ivan, great call. Yeah, they're gonna have their starting running back be the backup quarterback.
He's the emergency guy.
Yeah,
He is the
emergency
three.
guy.
He is the third quarterback. I love Cherie's mom.
Gary, where are you?
I don't know. I don't know where Gary went. I don't know where Bratcher went. Jackal's doing things.
He wasn't
Coming on the plane after.
Claudio's in Italy. Probably coming on the plane home now.
Yeah, Claudio does the fucking 1 month vacation.
Lou's better than him. Cars is meeting with an attorney. Everything's going down tonight.
He's got to share that fucked up story. Oh my god, I actually feel bad for it's fucked up. Yeah,
Oh
it's
boy.
bad.
That's when he comes back, keeping it 100. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm scheduling a guest for next week because I thought we had a guest next week, but we don't, right?
Not that I know of, but now that I have
Who
my
would you want? Yeah, you have
original-
a couple you could reach out to too.
Oh yeah, no, I have some things that I'm.
Who would you want like
interesting.
to polish up the season? Who would be a good guest?
Mary sounds like a hell of a guest. Angelo, do you remember Greg Braggs?
No.
The fucking scratching of the temple and the looking up in the corner gets me every time.
That's a great drop, Bratcher.
Next time Angela's on, we should all wear V-necks.
Yeah, that was the deep V. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit went down to the belly button.
The deep V. Look out for the deep V.
Yeah.
It's a good or a bad thing sometimes.
Been waiting for
Phil.
He's
overwhelmed.
Give me some fucking names.
Every week we're gonna understand the
Give me
fucking
some
why.
fucking names.
There you go. Bears Hour Live will be back. And we'll be sure to have a bunch of guests. Herb Howard, Adam Rank, David Kaplan's leaving NBC, but not leaving TTNL. Courtney Cronin is going to come back on. I saw him say Austin Carr. I got to reach out to Austin.
Yeah.
And we'll get it done.
But I got my old account back, so I have access to a lot more people that I didn't with my new account. So I have a nice little list of some potentially impressive guests that we're gonna get lined up, especially on the patron side. So that's gonna be big, going in and trying to lock in some of these prospects and moving forward too. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I've connected with an agent that is representing some of the guys in the draft that we're gonna have total access to. So last year you saw guys like Cole Strange and people like that really shot up the draft boards, and his journey in the offseason really started here at TTNL on Draft Mob. So
it's going to be a lot of fun breaking down free agency, the draft.
Can't wait. Yeah.
Pulling the film up, breaking down the tape of some of these free agent signings or free agents to be. Who's going to fit in? Devontae Adams trade. Imagine that. They said Khalil Mack couldn't be done. You never know in this game.
They need a quarterback. They gotta. I mean, I don't think they're gonna. Stidham played well, but I don't think they're tying their trailers to Stidham moving forward.
Stidham.
So,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Keep it locked in again. Live right after the game. Patrons, everybody, Happy New Year and prayers up to the Damar Hamlin and his family and everything that is going down there. Obviously,
that's the ultimate shout out. I mean, I think we should just do it as a collective whole and send it out to Damar and his family, his Buffalo Bills teammates, even Cincinnati, and they've revealed how the conversation started with Sean McDermott, and my respect for him has went up quite a bit, knowing the first thing that he said to Zach Taylor when they met at the field was, I shouldn't even be here right now. I need to be in the hospital with Damar. And that was, they made the right call. I mean, if they would have forced those players out there under those circumstances, it would have been disgusting. And I was glad to see the players make the right call. I mean, you just had to look at Josh Allen's face. You look at Stephon Diggs' face. You look at even the fans, the Cincinnati Bengal fans, you got to give a ton of credit. They're holding vigil outside the hospital with Bills fans. It's, amazing. And then the toy drive for Damar, it's approaching $7 million. It's probably over $7 million at this point. And his original goal was $2,500. So it shows you what the love and compassion. Unfortunately, it takes a tragic event like that to get that out of a lot of people, but it happened. And the NFL is a family. It's not always about the almighty dollar. And if the players want to stick to their guns like they did, more power to them. They said we're not going out there, and they did not. And
so glad
they made the they made the
We
right
were on
choice.
live when you texted me.
Yeah, I mean, it was startling. My mother is, my mother called me and she was like, she's like, I feel ill, just watching this. She's like, I got to turn it off. I can't handle it. And, Hila's not a huge football fan. I was downstairs in the studio. Yeah. She's like, this is just awful. And you think about the emotions of his, mother being there, and the ambulances waiting for her to, rush down out of the stands and get in there so she can be with her son. And, you don't know, man. I honestly, I was not optimistic about the outcome with the way that the things were, how it was unfolding on TV. I'm like, this is really bad. It just, you had that feeling that it wasn't going to end in a positive nature. And now slowly but surely, it seems like he's, getting better and better each day. And it seemed they actually said they kind of expect him to make a full recovery. So it's
huge.
amazing, but the power of positivity and love and support is a real thing. And I mean, who better to speak about it than everybody here at TTNL Network, because we've seen the power of it ourselves from fans and people that support us. So yeah, man, all my best out to Damar Hamlin, his family, his friends, Buffalo Bills, and Cincinnati Bengals players. I sent out a tweet that night and I said, we're all Bills Mafia tonight. And I truly feel about that. And you look around, I know you're not on Twitter, Phil, but every single team in the NFL changed their profile photo to Damar Hamlin, jersey, showing support. And that's little things like that, man, it's such an easy thing to do. But when teams and players and fans come together like that, you can move mountains. You really can.
Absolutely. Well said, man. Very well said. And if you didn't see Zorich talking about the situation live during it, you want to go check that show out. I thought Chris, spoke on it really well from both a player as well as in position as an athletic director in his history of what and his experience alone with the NFL. Chris was thinking that they would just continue the game.
Yeah.
So to the players' credit, because obviously there's this conspiracy, and I thought Scott Van Pelt, who's on ESPN, did an amazing
and Ryan
job.
Clark also, yeah.
They all did a good job.
Yeah. But Van Pelt really beat home the drum that the NFL clearly was pushing for 5 minutes and then they'd be back out there. And thankfully the coaches, and a lot of credit should go to, I know the Bills head coach, but the Cincinnati Bengals head coach,
Zach Taylor. Yep.
Taylor, just knowing the situation and coming from an empathetic place.
Absolutely.
That shit, especially as your rival, just putting, I mean, you said it best, even the fans, because I was worried that Bengals fans or fantasy football fans.
Oh yeah,
they were. I had some arguments.
Yeah, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate on Twitter from people, but it's you're never gonna.
That says a lot about you.
Yeah, you're never gonna escape that. There's people that obviously didn't give two shits and they just want to play contrarian. But real quick, Phil, not to move off of Damar, one thing that I wanted to just speak on myself real quick. Everybody knows the ups and downs I've had with my family over the past couple of years. And, we were hoping that we could move onward and upward in 2023. So Phil knows where I'm going with this. Unfortunately, New Year's morning, January 1st, I lost my aunt unexpectedly. So that's, we didn't start off the year on a good note, but just wanted to send my love to my uncle and my father. They've been obviously very close, but when you get up and your loved one is gone, like that, when it wasn't completely expected, even though she was a little bit older, it's always tough. So just wanted to shout out my uncle and my dad, as they're going through it a little bit from losing my Aunt Dottie, but she's in a better place now and not dealing with any medical issues, but we still love and will obviously miss her. So I wanted to put that out there into the stratosphere and send her my love that way.
God bless you guys. You guys have been through it. Your mom and dad. I know my dad, he has this, I kid you not, this giant card. And he's got all these names of people written on it. He literally goes through this list when he says
Claudio's on that motherfucker 17 times.
He puts your parents on his prayer list. He always asks every conversation I have with my dad, how's Shane's dad and mom doing?
Yeah, they're both doing well, and I felt bad because New Year's morning was a little hectic around here with the kids, and we were doing breakfast and stuff, and I saw that he had called a couple of times, and I just didn't get to it, and then I answered it, and he's like, hey, I got some bad news, and then he shared with me, and I'm like, oh, couldn't get one day into the new year, but it is what it is. We move forward, and we kiss the family that we have and cherish every minute with them, and love the ones that aren't here too. So sun comes up tomorrow, and we'll be there.
Hopefully 2023 is better for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Don't fuck it up, Peterman. God damn.
And the Chicago Bears, the sauce of our season and our off season, the Bears will be on display, magnified every day, or at least 3 times a week on the off season. You should see us around in regards to that. Claudio thought it was over, but it's never over covering the Bears. But I want to wish all of you fans, everybody that smashes the like button or shares the show or quotes something, or even if you're, you hate on whatever, I appreciate any kind of support for the network, and what we do here shouldn't go unnoticed because it is a family. From Ivan producing and finding and helping and creating graphics and video promos, to Cherie being there, putting up fucking comments, to Bratcher finding this great drop.
Angelo, do you remember Greg Braggs?
No.
It all goes together in this family. Everybody doing this part. Send some positive energy towards Chris Jackal as a father tonight. As a father and a husband. He will
counterclockwise swirl. Jackal works every time.
I guess we know who's getting to 3 first.
It ain't gonna be me. I'll tell you that. That's why I turned the fucking heat up.
Anybody that's having a tough time, or there's something you want us to comment about or talk about, or if you have anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to the network or any of us on Instagram, myself, Cherie, Shane, Ivan, so on and so forth. If you have a guest idea, or just don't be Greg Braggs and try to tell me a song that I should do. Just don't do it's terrible at that. We'll see you guys next week. Keeping it 100. We'll announce that guest, but we'll see you sooner rather than later. Tomorrow night, Cars Keys, not tonight. Probably Mike Hall still in the fucking chat. Waiting for
Where'd everybody go? Gary, where are you? Yeah.
I kid.
Gary, where are you?
Fuck, is this show gonna start?
We see you next time. God bless. Good night. Mary, where are you?
Yeah.
The tape never lies.
Hey, fuckers. This is Brian Urlacher, and I'm keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies.
TTNL, the tape never lies. Tape never lies. Are you friends with Adam Rank?
I am.
Come on.
Bill,
You guys know the tape never lies.
Give me some name.
Come on, Shane.
Tape Never Lies Network, baby. Tape Never Lies Network, baby. Tune in.
I'm a born American boy, born in this land.
I tell you what, man. Tristan Ebner, I tell you what, man.
Could be better in the open field. That's all I said.
Brenton Gill's the fucking new punt god. I
fucking love it. I love it.
I grew a goatee because the only way people knew that I had actually gone through puberty is his hair either had to be here or here, and that was it.
These guys will tell you the best abilities is availability.
Best ability isn't availability. It's accountability. You fucking nerd fucks.
There you go. Yep, I'm liking it.
Fuck yourself.
Blame it on the bubble wrap.
I love all.
Jim Larison is faster coming out of the end zone than I see Ebner.
It's pretty true. I mean, that's true.
The tape never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's gonna rise up?
Jeepers creepers. I'm good. I'm feeling good about this week, man. I'm excited.
Yeah! And when we go,
I love all.
That's gonna get old.
Good, man. That's good.
More podcasts we listen to during the season and during the off-season. Network, baby.
Have you watched The Matrix yet, dude?
The tape never lies.
So, man, I fucking fucked up. But
Tackle did the grave digger on my ass. I was like,
Oh, man. Claudio hired him to draw logos because he's unemployed. Ours was also supposed to be named after Dionne Warwick. That's so strange.
Give me some fucking names.
You know how cold it is here, guys? I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you, you know.
I got it up.
Watching the Tape Never Lies Network, but her face can't.
She gotta work that ass.